Okay, are we live? It says we are live. I really don't know why my studio feed for the live stream has been so laggy, but they definitely did something to it. But it does work, and we are live with part 2 of Fruits. Oh man, where do I even begin with how this playthrough started, guys? Like, holy shit. This game did not mince words. This game did not waste time getting into its comic antics. Like, it got straight to the fucking point about who everybody was last time. And it went from 0 to 100 very quickly. Like, a fucking Sachi's basically a maid, and then there was the shit with Amane when we went to help her go do some shopping. Like, that was ridiculous. And then we had fucking like Yukiko swinging a box cutter around us for days. Like, we would go to class, Yukiko's just like, hua, 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 hua. And we're just like, bro, what are you doing? What I'm getting at is that this game is fucking nuts, and we're at the very start. So I have no idea what to expect from this. All the game is telling me is that I should expect anything but a normal school life for Yuji. Like, fuck me. So yeah, I'm excited to be getting back to this, and I hope my internet doesn't die like last night. And this theme song is still a fucking bop. This menu music is still a bop. There we go. Why does it have the wrong title? Fucking Discord embeds being Discord embeds again. It's got the right thumbnail, but this time it has the wrong title. That's so dumb, dude. I don't know why it does that. I swear, Discord embeds work like maybe a third of the time. How's it going, Caleb? I was just going on about how the characters in this game are pretty nuts. And it's like, we're at the very start of the game. So how's your day going? Yeah, it's alright, just getting ready for work. I see. Well, once again, Discord embeds are being dumb again. Because it has the thumbnail right this time, but it has the wrong title. So I just don't understand Discord embeds. Like, I swear, sometimes they work, but most of the time for me lately, they have not. So I don't know why. And how it, figures out how to, pick what it does. Like, is it because my internet died last night and it's still, you know, using the title from that? YouTube, shut up about the bitrate. It's fine. It fluctuates. Shut up. But yeah, I think the biggest surprise from last episode was definitely what happened with Amane when we went shopping. Like, good lord. That was wild. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out what the game does with all of these Sakaki Academy girls. If it's, you know, this crazy right out of the gate. Feeling pretty hyped because we're also almost at 1100 for channel subs. Like I said, I just hope my internet doesn't die again, because that would suck. And that would be very sad. To have it happen 2 days in a row. What I'm trying to remember is what, is what happened with Makina, because, you know, we saw something noteworthy about everybody else. I'm sure something happened with Makina, but I just can't remember right now. And I feel bad, because it's like, something, you know, stood out to me about everybody else. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I like how Rabbit's thing is just college gonna end soon. Also, I put a ping in the zombies chat on the server because I'm thinking about doing another zombies day on Saturday. Yeah, it's so weird. The embed works on YouTube, but on Discord, like, it just uses the title from last night. It's so dumb. Blue Skies will be delayed forever again. I mean, that depends on what happens with Zach. Whether or not he's able to make it. Because otherwise I'll have to do something else. I've also been thinking about Monday on the schedule. I think I'm going to do some advanced stuff on Portal 2. Just because I did that for the first Portal. Yeah, I'm gonna change it on the schedule now, actually. I'm also looking forward to Saturday. Because I was thinking about it earlier when I mentioned that I had never played the original campaign for Modern Warfare 3. Like the one from 2011. So I'm looking forward to doing that on Saturday. Yeah, see, now YouTube's not complaining about the bitrate. I told you, it's fine, YouTube. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And on a completely unrelated note before we get started, my Wild lost to the Rangers again. Not again, but they lost tonight to the Rangers. We beat them in our building on Saturday, but we lost to them in their building tonight. We kept it close through 2 periods, then they took the lead. We took a badly timed penalty, and that put them up 2 after we killed most of it, and they scored with like 10 seconds left on the penalty. Then there was a penalty they didn't call on them that helped them win, so, you know, classic stuff there with the officiating. But, yeah, that's enough about me. I forgot we have voices on for this game. That should help my throat at least, because we got this, we got fucking Blue Skies tomorrow, and then Sunday we're doing more Steins Gate. And then after Monday, I gotta figure out what the schedule's gonna be. But yeah, let's load back in. Alright, June 7th, 8 in the morning. I also just want to say real quick, I like how it has like the beginning of the first line when you load in the save info. I think that's pretty neat. Let me know if the music is too quiet, because I actually turned it up a bit for the menu. Yeah, that's right. Because this was your idea. You said if this won, you'd sing something, and it's almost time. Okay. Good to know. She says, you know what I said about recording me? We're not recording, though. We broadcasted. There's a difference. Anywho, in the time-honored traditions of America, bright red cars are called pony cars because of their reputation as playthings for schoolboys. Really? While yellow models are jackass cars because only morons drive them. Well, that's a good way to put it, I guess. I've never really thought about that, but sure, okay, game. A certain German woman I know, whether aware of that or not, deliberately drives a particularly flashy yellow vehicle around. Mine's just a silver color. Right, I gotta remember what all the hotkeys are. Right. I gotta get used to that with this game. Spacebar being the hide text key. I'm still getting used to that. Apparently, she very much enjoys the compliments she gets from colleagues at work. Usually some variation of, it really suits you. I see. In other words, a stupid car like that is just about right for a dumb blonde. God damn it. But she hasn't caught on to the fact that she's being mocked, and I've tactfully decided not to inform her either. Because why ruin her fun, right? Why ruin her fun? Just like the women who get flattered when someone tells them your dress does wonders for your figure, it's pretty tough to let her know after the fact she's not really being complimented. But sometimes things like this can come back to bite you when you least expect it. Is that a spot for a comma? I don't know. Oh. Hello again, Amane. I have not forgotten our last little adventure. You, eh? What do you mean a foreigner? Oh. Don't know her. I don't have any bimbos among my acquaintances. Oh, it's funny. This is who he was just talking about. I was gonna say, weren't you just talking about a blonde with a yellow car? So clearly we must know her, right? I told you I don't know her. Probably selling Girl Scout cookies. She's like, wait, huh? Either way, better not get too close. Let's get out of here. Hello. What is that woman thinking? She really thinks she's all that. I don't know who she is. I'll explain later. Sorry, but go on ahead. What makes you think she's a loan shark? She's my guardian. Or rather, my guarantor. Nah, it's fine. Hurry up and take Makina back. I'll be right behind you. I'm just gonna say a quick hello. Hey, how's it going, Cerberus? Apparently, she's not too enthusiastic about that. How was your day, Cerberus? Apparently not enjoying the way I'm shooing her off with my hands like a stray dog, Amane walks away with a sulky expression, shooting repeated glances over her shoulder. You're just mad that's not you doing that, Amane. Like I said, I have not forgotten what went down on that little shopping adventure we went on last time. Currently uploading Can't Let Go to YouTube and scheduling it for tomorrow. I see. I remember when I first got into Geometry Dash and I spent quite a bit of time figuring out how to beat that level. It feels so quaint now compared to the types of levels we have now. After watching Amane and Makina disappear past the school gate, I screw up an irritated expression, scratch my head vigorously, and approach the blinding yellow Bimbo-mobile. Bimbo-mobile. God damn it. Here it goes. Look, woman. I guess you could say that. You could do Can't Let Go with your eyes closed, really? Oh yeah, Time Machine took me a while. Yeah, more or less. You enjoying pretending to be my guardian? Asako. Who are you? I'm putting that in my notes. Asako. Who are you? Yeah, I played it off and on a lot throughout high school, and a couple of years ago I would play it on my break every now and then, but I don't really play it much anymore. What did you come here for? I bet, yeah. That's how I felt when I beat Finger Dash for the first time. Like, you gotta understand, it was a pretty awesome set of circumstances. I was taking my last break for the night, and there was 15 minutes left until we closed, and I, played for like most of those 15 minutes. And, I had an attempt go deep, and I'm just like, messed it up right at the end, basically. So then, I exited out and looked at the clock and saw how much time I had left. And I'm like, 2-3 minutes. That's enough time for one more attempt. And that one more attempt was the one that beat Finger Dash. Suffice to say, my coworker Chad was coming into the break room to get his stuff. So he just looked at me like, why are you shouting and fist pumping? And I'm just like, do you want to understand? And he just looks at me like, whatever, dude. It was great. So, what did you come here for? I think we would prefer you to have a reason. Oh, whoops. Well, you've done a lot more than I ever did on Geometry Dash, because I would argue Finger Dash is the hardest level I've beaten. I have never beaten even, you know, a quote easy demon. I've never beaten any demon level on that game. Although I'm grateful that you're acting as a guarantor of my background. I don't need a guardian at my age. Kindly get lost. Was I really, though? If you think you can shut me up by bringing up my childhood, you got another thing coming. I'll repeat the question. What did you come here for? If it's about work, I thought I had a break for the moment. Quest for perfection? Yeah, I don't really play fan-made levels too much. I just stuck to the main stuff. Yeah, inner quote normal. Nothing about this school is normal. There's no problem at present. If you forced me to come up with one, you being here would be top of the list. God damn! He really does not want her here. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to make up an excuse when I go back to the classroom. Don't increase my workload. Really? So you're a distant relative on our mom's side. In our cover story, I prefer to avoid lying outright where possible. Lies are like colors. The more you pile up, the blacker things get. Akasaka's red be more appropriate when it comes to lies? Get enough of that place and things just turn as black. I don't need you to tell me that. I'm handling this myself. Which is precisely why I don't need you giving me surprises like this. What? Are you serious? You really did just come to see me. Well, please keep things business related. Ah, right. The cell phone. Sorry, I'll make sure to keep it around from now on. Jeez, how serious are these people? I'm aware. Aware of that as well. Yeah, so this, what is it? Ichigaya? Where we're employed? Seems pretty serious. I'm glad I was writing this stuff in my notes last time. I hate trains, as you know. Because he's stubborn. He does what he wants. That the kind that's standing in front of you. Also, the walk was closer to about 175 kilometers. Damn, she's not happy with us. Considering that little trip ended up with you in police custody. Yeah, I remember. We kind of toyed with the investigator. And we're just like, and? He is not afraid to speak his mind. Oh. Yeah, the bitrate just fluctuated a bit on my end. You're some kind of psychic? How did you read my thoughts? Because you're very easy to read. I don't know if you want him to answer that question. No. Look, I do feel bad about that. I'll apologize nice and slowly over dinner next time, okay? So please leave. I have to repeat myself. Shouldn't there be a comma? Don't do anything too stupid. Understood! Orders received, Major Harudera. Hey, stop saying, can I hit this guy just once with your eyes? Using your own words against it. Please don't spread it around. It's a pain in the ass to have to bend a spoon every time I introduce myself. I do understand. Don't mind my jokes. I couldn't tell ya. I get that a lot. Hurry up and get going. You don't have the time to play around here either, do you? Yes, I'm well aware of the fact that he is stubborn. You're right. My bad, JB. Yep. I watch as JB turns away and climbs into her car, her blonde hair swinging behind her in waves. As she drives off, I retrieve a cell phone from my school bag. Although I'd pretended otherwise, I've been carrying my work phone around just as ordered. It's a black, low-profile slide phone I received from JB specifically for company business. So, basically, disposable. I slide the screen up, quickly input the PIN, and call up the menu screen. Although it looks like a perfectly normal cell phone, any calls made from this machine pass through a special encrypted line. Really? There's only one entry in the contacts. That single number is listed under JB, Julia Bardera. Naturalized name, Harudera Yuria. My direct supervisor at my part-time job. You're gonna come, at least give me an advance warning. I click my tongue in irritation, slide the phone shut, and stuff it into the pocket of my uniform so I can respond instantly to any future contact. Harudera Yuria, alias JB. As the woman said herself, she's something of a pain in the ass. She'll go nearly half a year without a single call, and then suddenly it's a brusque stand by in the designated point, where of course she has some incredibly troublesome job waiting to push on me. Really now? Huh. I'm curious if I'm pronouncing that right. Brusque. Yep, abrupt or offhand. Sounds about right for JB here. God, I can't say the initials JB without thinking about a different JB that used to be relevant when I was growing up. If you know, you know. No, it's almost better when there's actually a job. Sometimes she leaves me at the rendezvous point for more than an hour without any contact. And then when I finally get the call I've been sitting around waiting for, it's a curt "situation's resolved," and I go right back home again. Wow, that is just a waste of time right there. That is a massive waste of time. Well, I do get a travel fee deposited into my account just for heading to the standby point, so I suppose it's not a complete fool's errand in that sense, but sometimes I can't help but feel like my time on this earth isn't being spent efficiently. I would have to agree. Getting paid just to stand around at a certain point to potentially be needed for something or not is not something I would really want to do either. That almost sounds like, you know, applying to be a security guard somewhere, where most of your job, depending on the gig you get, is just stand here and do nothing all day. You're basically a human scarecrow, effectively. I would know, because one of the YouTubers that I watch actually used to work as a security guard, so you know, he has first-hand testimony of what his experience was like. That's my man Ross Scott, the owner and founder of Accursed Farms. Something of a behind-the-scenes part-time job, air quotes, and the work would be troublesome to explain to others if they asked. Of course, it's also not the kind of job I can just casually quit when I want to. Yeah, unlike the people at Zero Punctuation, if you guys have heard about that situation, and that situation was totally fucked if you haven't heard about what happened with that. More importantly, this is a position that I inherited from my master. Wouldn't walk away even if I could. Yeah, so he's just gonna put it, I'll put up with it. Ugh. I'm gonna be needing every last drop of this water. Nice. Well then, how should I explain this to Amane and company? I don't think I'll be able to pass her off as a cookie peddler after all. I passed through Mihama Academy's school gate, dragging myself along on heavy feet. I just realized I got the academy name wrong in the description. I knew I should have wrote down the name of the academy. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was that or Sakaki. And Sakaki Academy is what I had in my notes, so I went with that. Alright, let me go back to descriptions here. And let's fix that. I passed through Mihama Academy's school gate, dragging myself along on heavy feet. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. What is it? As expected, the instant I show my face in the classroom, Amane jumps all over me. I don't want to speak too soon, but she seems very clingy. In addition to everything we saw with her last time. Okay. I feel really bad that I misremembered the name of the academy. Most of my classmates are gathered on the far side of the room. apparently having watched me from the window. Jeez, what are you all so eager about anyway? And as I enter, they're all looking at me with questions in their eyes. Why do you care? Blondie? Naturally, Amane is the one who steps forward to interrogate me, as if declaring herself the representative of the class, even though I'm pretty sure somebody else is. That said, the rest of the group doesn't seem to be disinterested either. Makina staring at me with a dazed expression, and Sachi's clutching her hands together in front of her chest, waiting for my words with bated breath. Jeez, you all are really eager to find out just who that was. Michiru is doing Michiru things. For some reason, she's glaring at me like I kicked her puppy. Why? Why are you like this, Michiru? That, of course, is a loaded question because we all know the answer. Because she is the ultimate tsundere. Ah, yes. The tsundere is a cursed existence. Sakaki, on the other hand, is sitting primarily in her seat reading a book. Primly, sorry, I read that wrong. As if to announce she's above such things, but judging from the way she hasn't turned the page once I came in, we've probably got her attention as well. Told you already, didn't I? She's my superior for my part-time job. Yeah, I lost both my parents when I was a kid, so I have to earn my own living expenses. It's a little difficult to summarize, but, well, I get rid of garbage or crawl into various places and take care of the cleaning. It's what you'd call dirty work. Yep, that leaves it pretty open to what it could be. But to the untrained ear, it also gives the impression that we just handle literal garbage. That's right. But she's on the management side, so she doesn't get her hands dirty. JB.
JB?
Her real name is Harudera Yuria. JB is a pet name. She's a naturalized citizen. I think she's originally German? I don't really remember. I pull out the chair from my seat and drop my bag on top of the desk with a deliberately loud thump. Questioning over now? If you've satisfied your curiosity, then go sit down. Class is gonna start. Perfect timing. Just as I speak, the first bell rings and Makina and Sachi scurry back to their seats. But the large woman who's been interrogating me, her expression still smoldering with irritation, pulls out the chair from the seat in front of me and sits down heavily. Depends what you're asking. What kind of question is it? Spit it out then. What is it? Where is this coming from? That's your big question? What a joke. Jeez, okay, I didn't know it meant that much to you. Calm down. Don't stick your nose in my face. God damn it, Amane's doing Amane things again. God damn it, Amane. Da! You've got a mustache starting there. That got her to back up. Yeah, just messing with you. I'd like to see you try. Sounds fun. Give it a try. He's literally just toying with her. Oh boy. Oh boy, he is having way too much fun. How dare you toy with a girl's emotions? Amane's punch is slow and lacking in serious intent. I dodge it easily with a slight swaying movement of my upper body. I told you these Academy girls are insane. I think Amane is seriously trying to get us to do her round first. I think she seriously wants us to go down her round first. Like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. All these advances she's making on us, getting dressed in our room. It's like, bro, the signs are there. It's like, you are really coming on to this guy. It's obvious. Think this over calmly. Do I look like a man who could be in a relationship? Elaborate. Amane stares into my eyes as if searching for the truth. Well, yeah. She says that's incredibly sus. What is? Well, so this question finally came up. On paper, I was studying abroad in Canada. Some similar lie they came up with for my forged personal history. But if they just start pushing into that story... this will just drag on. I would love to see what he was doing studying abroad in Canada. Or what they came up with there from further details. That sounds fun. I'm just untwisting the cords of my headset. They're all twisted. Okay. Well, they're not any less twisted now. So I guess those twists are just normal. Whatever. YouTube sure loves complaining about my bitrate. Like, bro, YouTube, the bitrate is gonna fluctuate. Don't worry about it. It's fine. As long as the internet doesn't die, we fine. We chillin'. We chillin'. Answering somewhat honestly now should make for less trouble down the line anyway. Before I came here, guess I was a freeloader of sorts. She's like, huh? You want to make it sound fancier? Maybe a gigolo? I was being supported by an unrelated older woman. Gigolo? These visual novels make me look up words. I like that. Why is one of the first things that Google puts up before I put in any prompt is Rashida Tlaib? Why are you telling me to look up her? I don't even care. Yep, young man paid or financially supported by an older woman to be her escort or lover. No, Google, you cannot access my location. Although I'm sure you don't need me to figure out what my location is. Because it's not like I've exactly been secretive about my general location. She's like, oh no. No, she's a friend of the other woman. I started mooching off her after the first one died. Jesus Christ, Yuji. He's just like, yeah. In exchange, she worked me brutally hard on the job. She doesn't have anything to complain about. She shuts her eyes, slaps her hand on her forehead, and heaves a heavy sigh. She's probably like, this is the man I've been chasing? She's right back to it, so you're not taken? Jesus Christ, girl. Correct. I'll admit, I don't quite understand why that's the main point here, but I guess this stuff is on the mind of girls at this age. You could say that. You could say that. If you try to force your perspective onto everything, you'll lose sight of the bigger picture. Although she doesn't look entirely satisfied with my response, she butters a brief, well, alright, rises from the chair and heads back to her own seat. I watch until she finally sits down, then quickly turn to look behind me. Nothing. Just saying hello. Immediately behind me, I find a bright red Michiru staring back at me. Were you listening? Baka. Yes, you are. It's okay. Are you sure about that? Sorry, I'm just admiring the face here. Oh my god, this artwork is incredible. I love the sprite work here. God damn. This is great. Crossing her arms tightly in front of her chest, her face bright red, Michiru babbles frantically. In response, I thrust out my right hand in an energetic thumbs up. Yep, just bing! Nice tsundere, Michiru. You make it too easy. If you don't want to talk about something, you should make it awkward to ask. Based on that theory, I tried spicing things up a little bit more than the reality, but who knows how much more of it they believed. Of course, it's true that my parents died when I was still a kid, that I was picked up by an older woman, my master, and that I lived off the money she earned. After my master's death, I did get work from her friend JB in order to earn my keep. On top of that, it's thanks to her vouching for me that I'm able to attend a normal school like this in the first place. This place is anything but normal, dude. But it's probably the closest thing to normal that this guy's ever gonna get, so he's just rolling with it. Huh. Now that I think about it, I didn't change the facts much at all. But then, the more you focus on constructing believable lies, the less they tend to work. This is true. When you stick more or less to the truth, you'll end up convincing people no matter how absurd the story sounds. Promising start. Be a bit of an overstatement, but I think I can work with this. Kind of like how the wild game went tonight. Alright, so it's later the afternoon. Man, that is a good out-of-context quote from this game. No matter what sort of life you're living, you'll run into people who just won't listen to what you have to say. Yep. And those are the kind of people you are better off just forgetting about, dude. Forget about them. That is a great quote. When words don't get through, the easiest alternative is beating them into submission. I guess that works, but I don't think that's gonna make them listen, depending on who they are. Certainly a bit of a rough solution. When you're dealing with another man, it's at least an option. When you're dealing with a woman, Let alone a shrimp of a girl who doesn't come up to your shoulder. It's a different story. That's right, I think this guy's pretty tall, isn't he? If you start swinging your fists around out of irritation under those circumstances, anyone would call it bullying the weak. It's bad style. It leaves an unpleasant taste in your mouth, too. What's called for in situations is perseverance. Such situations is perseverance and patience. We're always saying we live in an age of technological wonders, especially nowadays, dude. So I've been waiting for someone to invent a machine you can stick on your back and switch to Zen-like, instantly granting yourself infinite self-control. How awesome would that be? But despite the clear market potential, the world isn't yet ready. The world isn't yet such a convenient place. No big deal. I'm used to endurance tests by now. I'm sure you are. Oh, hi Makina. It's been 5 minutes since I spotted Irisu Makina wandering aimlessly around the campus and called out, "What are you up to?" in a casual tone. On the bright side, she reacted to my voice and stopped dead in her tracks instead of fleeing. I guess that's a positive? She still seems a bit frightened by our presence. I hope my throat is ready for 2 more days of this after tonight. But the next step is proving a little more problematic. Girl's just staring up at my face. She hasn't said a word. You said it's been, what, 5 minutes? That's kind of concerning. Can you not speak Japanese? Silent as always, Makina shakes her head back and forth in denial, apparently having understood my question. Are you afraid of me, maybe? Her silence continues, and this time there is neither confirmation nor denial. I think that means yes. It seems unlikely that she didn't understand the question, which would mean this one is in uncertain territory somewhere between yes and no, as far as I can guess. I would know a thing or two about this because I get like this when I'm in an when I'm faced with an uncomfortable question that I don't want to answer. I just kind of look around like, oh. I just don't like not having, a satisfactory answer to a question. So, whenever, I'm faced with something that, I don't have a good answer to, I'm just like, oh, man. Well, you know what they say about yawns being contagious, Cerberus. Happened to me with a colleague today. Oh my god. Damn it. You're making me do it. You're making me do it again. I really should get a mallet for the plastic cover things on my chair to tap those in fully. I'm repeating myself, but this sort of communication takes a lot of patience and persistence. That it does. I try to consciously consider things from Makina's point of view. A transfer student with an unclear background. What's more, a man that's 178 centimeters tall. Excuse me. From the perspective of Makina, who I'd guess to be around 140 centimeters, it might well be a little intimidating to have me towering above her. Yeah, I'd say so. For the moment, that's over a foot difference, by the way. In English terms. For the moment, I crouch down so that my eyes are level with hers. That might help. It seemed like you were wandering around the grounds. Are you looking for something? No. She speaks a single word in a quiet voice and once again shakes her head in denial. Then what were you doing? It's a point of some interest to me, but, well, if you get down to it, wherever she is and whatever she's doing, it's her own business, I suppose. I'm not a policeman, and I don't have any reason to drag it out of her. In this case, it might be best to find some way to wrap this up cleanly. Give her a friendly goodbye and let this timid creature be on her way. But just as I reach this conclusion, Makina slowly moves her hand to the rear of her skirt, grabs something with her stubby fingers, and pushes it in front of my eyes. What's this thing? What you got there? At a glance, the item in Makina's small hand is a toy-like object, roughly the size of an egg, with an LCD screen buried into the center. So, like a Tamagotchi or something? One of those type of things? Man, I remember that shit. It is like a Tamagotchi! Oh my god. Wow, that takes me back. That's a nostalgia trip right there, bro. I remember, I think I had one of those, like, Neopet Tamagotchi things growing up, as, like, you know, before I was, like, maybe 10? I forget. It's been so long. But I remember that fondly. Because I messed with it a lot more than I probably should have. I don't remember a whole lot about what was actually, you know, what actually like went on within it. But I just remember the name Neopets because I had so much fun messing around with that thing. Like, fuck, dude, that's a nostalgia trip. I wish I still had it, but I got rid of that a long time ago. I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. That's better. Ugh. Every time I eat cheesy things, I usually tend to have to blow my nose afterwards. Does that kind of thing happen to anybody else? Or is that just a me thing? What's that? On closer examination, there's some unknown life form or monster, most closely resembling a chick, displayed in blocky pixels on the central LCD. It seems to be programmed with some cheap animations, about 3 patterns or so. Ah. Come to think of it, I remember reading a news article about this a few years ago. After developing the smallest 3-axis geomagnetism sensor in the world at the time, a certain company fed that technology into a children's electronic toy, which then became an explosive hit among grade schoolers. Yeah, want to say that was Tamagotchi or something similar. The pedometer, right? One of those things where the pet grows up faster the more you walk? Something like that, maybe. Kind of reminds me of the Pokewalker thing that Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver had, where you could put one of your Mons onto it, and you have them like walk around, and you'll walk around with them, and you would get stuff when you transferred it back onto your cartridge. It was a pretty neat piece of tech, but somebody stole mine. So I don't even remember what Mon I had on it when it got stolen, but it's like, I don't know what you want me to do with it, man. Nodding her head, Makina returns the pedometer in her hand to her waist. In other words, she wasn't looking for anything in particular. Her wandering itself was the objective. Walking's a good thing, since it's aerobic exercise without too much strain on the joints. If you're gonna walk anyway, having some sort of visible result from the effort might make it feel more worthwhile. Yeah, every time I go walking around the neighborhood, it's the pictures I take with you that make it worthwhile. Especially during my favorite season of the year. Especially during my favorite season. I try to go more often then. Well, then maybe a treadmill would be more fitting. Makina points at the school gate as she speaks. I see. It makes sense that she'd want to avoid crowded places, given her extreme shyness. That would restrict her strolls to pacing around the school grounds, which would quickly get repetitive. That's why I just walk around the neighborhood with some music and money on my keychain. Like I said, especially during the wintertime, that is so relaxing. It is so nice. So the digital pet serves as a distraction from that boredom, most likely. You like taking walks? She's like, sorta. Sorta, is it? Well, walking for fun at this age might be a little odd. Seems more like the hobby of an old man. Have any other interests? Like reading, for example. Read any books lately? She's like, what are those? Manga's fine too, whatever. To tell the truth, I've already heard from Amane that Makina often reads books, and reading is a hobby of mine as well. I think it's a decent common topic for starters. Response to my question, Makina holds her right index finger to her chin and mumbles, while gazing up at the sky. A quiz book, huh? Was it interesting? That's like me with word find books. Such a sweet little one you are. Give all the head pats to Makina, everybody. All the head pats for Makina. I'm threatening to observe with the naked eye. What kind of death ray weapon is that? It is sweet, of all things. Something tells me he's gonna fall into the trap that I always do with these, which is I think about them too literally. Some new tech from the West? Oh, there's a space there that's missing. Just looking at it is dangerous. I mean, it's probably some variety of optical weapon? Something like X-ray possessing mass? Or some sort of beam saber style light-based killing tool? No, wait, if just seeing it is dangerous, some sort of super weapon that radiates a pulse to the receptors of the eyeball using a flickering pattern to stimulate the brain cells and trigger accelerated apoptosis? Hold it. This thing is a suite, right? A suite? Where the hell do we go from there? All I'm getting Some sort of chocolate pastry shooting out a mysterious beam of light? Pew pew pew? I don't know. I give up. What's the answer? I sympathize with Yuji. I sympathize with this guy so much. Guys, I am terrible at riddles. Because I'm always thinking about this shit too literally. Yep. I told you he was gonna think about it too literally. It's candy, huh? What? See, that's his problem. He's thinking about it very literally. Life-threatening. Because candy is bad for you. Candy! See and die. I get it. I missed that angle. Candy. Yeah, sorry to hold you up. Off she goes. Without even a bye or later, Makina leaves the area at a trot, as if fleeing from me. Doesn't seem like she outright hates me, though. Ugh! How long were you there? Hey, that's my line, Yuji. Since the part about candy? Really? So you just got here, in other words. What do you mean by the opposite? Trying not to be disliked? Really now? Is that the case, Amane? Is that the case? True enough, I remember seeing her rushing around, brandishing a cicada and cackling that first time. If that's her normal state, then the way she behaves in front of me would certainly be a product of deliberate self-restraint. But... I think it could be interpreted as a simple fear as well. You think so, huh? What makes you say that? Yeah, this makes sense. You want to be at eye level with the person. Yeah. When I was a kid, there was a time I'd been surrounded by unfamiliar adults and found myself on the brink of tears. When one of the adults stooped down to talk with me face to face, I immediately got emotionally attached. Yep, because you saw eye to eye. That's very effective. Looking back, I feel like shouting, "You sure got attached to an outrageous person," or complaining about what an idiot I was. But, I mean, hey, don't we all want to shout to ourselves, to our past selves, that we were an idiot for something we did? Really? And now she's glued to you, or something like that? Oh, I definitely understand that, Amane. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm doing things on my own.
に取ってほしくないんだけど、ずっと一緒にいると疲れるのよね。
Really? I find that hard to believe. Maybe she's playing by herself because she understands that?
うまく説明できないけど、猫みたいなものよ。構ってほしい時だけニャンニャン言ってすり寄ってきて、飽きたらスッといなくなっちゃう感じ?
Huh. I see. She's kind of like a cat. That description sounds very accurate to my cat Farley. This is not like my tabby cat Shadow. She loves attention. She loves to be around people. Sometimes a little bit too much. Like sometimes like in, you know, late in the night when I'm like getting ready for bed, I'll hear her meowing in the hallway because she's lonely and upset that everybody's asleep. And it's just like, oh, I'm so sorry nobody's awake to play. But we're all trying to sleep. But yeah, this does sound like our, I feel bad that I forget what breed of cat our gray cat Farley is. But yeah. When she wants attention, yeah, she gets really affectionate with you. Like you and stop. And just wants you to pet her, wants you to cuddle with her, and is just like, yes, pet me, human, love me. And then as soon as she's bored, she's just like, okay, bye, thank you.
癖っ気でふわふわしてるし、体もぐにゃぐにゃで柔らかいし、体温が高いから抱くと暖かいし、なんか甘ったるい匂いするし。
I guess you could say that, Amane. A cat. I see.
慣れないうちはそっけないかもしれないけど、絶対に悪い子じゃないから仲良くしてあげてよ。
We'll keep that in mind. I don't plan to force her to be friends if she doesn't want to be. But yeah, I'll try to avoid being hated. So... Makina is like a cat. I'm putting that in my notes. If I avoid unnecessary contact, I shouldn't inspire any hatred or come to hate anyone myself. In exchange, I won't be liked or come to like anyone either. Maintaining emotional distance along appropriate lines is an essential, but extremely difficult aspect of forming efficient interpersonal relationships. Of course, there are always those careless puppy dog types who will leap into your arms, wagging their tails right from the start. I think he's just spacing out again. Well, just thinking about how beautiful you are. A bit of flattery you fancy, huh? What? I think you're jumping to conclusions. Alright, Amane, closer. Oh my god, he's really gonna do that to her. Oh my god. Oh, I think I know how this is gonna go. My god. She's like, her chest swelling with some ridiculous expectation. Amane closes her eyes and thrusts out her lips as instructed. Moving quickly and silently, I make good my getaway, leaving the girl to her foolishness. I knew it! Oh, that is so cold. Amane will remember that. God damn. I see. Makina may have the right idea after all. Leaving out later or goodbye entirely and silently running away certainly is less troublesome. Don't take it the wrong way, Amane. It's not that I hate you. I'm just trying to avoid being hated by you. Alright, 1600 hours. So about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Read books in a well-lit area. That was the teaching of my masters. At that time, I was accustomed to reading while shut up in a closet or dark room, so those words felt a bit refreshing. Of course, it's not like I'm worried about obeying the teachings of a woman who's already dead, and I'm still not good with direct sunlight. Tell me about it, bro. Even with sunglasses, the sun's too much for me sometimes, dude. But here I am, searching for a bright place with a book in hand anyway. Aren't I adorable? Oh, you're flattering. You are just the cutest. No reason to wander around looking for a sunny place in this shitty heat. Oh, tell me about it. Stepping away from the air-conditioned school building, I unfold the school's admissions guide pamphlet. On the coded threefold brochure, it's a bird's-eye view illustration of the campus, with a mark to the south of the schoolhouse annotated, planned site of library construction. Planned site. Meaning there isn't a library yet, I guess. Although there is something library-esque on the second floor of the school building, the collection only holds around 200 books. Yep, hardly enough for a full-scale library. You can apply to have a book stocked if you're after one in particular, and apparently a bookmobile replaces the existing collection every once in a while. But it doesn't seem like it's being used that heavily. I mean, it's a collection of 200 books among, 6 or 7 students? So, naturally there's going to be a lot that just sit there. In other words, there's no reason to go out of my way to borrow the key to use it. Brought my own books, and there's plenty of well-lit areas besides the library. Well, casually looking over the pamphlet, I find the words Rose Garden. This is definitely our principal's doing. Amazing. Or so I can easily imagine a certain woman who doesn't know how to act her age deluding herself. Pretty flowers might calm your mind, but they won't fill your belly. If you've got room to grow them, it'd be better used for an edible plant. But telling her that would probably just make things unpleasant. I'll just have to remember to greet Principal Tachibana with a "Good day, Oni-sama," the next time I see her. Rose Garden. I don't have any interest in inedible flowers, but I guess there'd be a shade tree or two as well. Imagining myself reading under a tree surrounded by blooming roses brings a smirk to my face. Guided by these silly thoughts, I decide to head towards the rose garden for the first and only time. Call it a rose garden, but not a single one's in bloom. Based on the map, this is definitely the right spot. There's even a white arch that seems appropriate. From what I can see, there aren't any roses in flower. Maybe the garden's still a work in progress. Or perhaps they're cutting the buds during the summer. Well, not like I came to see roses in the first place, so whatever. Hey! What a coinky-dink that we'd find you here. Wait. Like a cat. Are you sleeping on top of a kitten? Oh my god, that is so precious. That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting anyone else to be here. No, more importantly... What the heck is she doing? I approached her silently and touched Makina's neck in the area of her carotid artery. She's got a pulse. On closer inspection, she's breathing quietly, so I guess the wicked stepmother, Amane in this case, didn't feed her a poisoned apple. She's sleeping. Wait, this thing is a cat, I think? Yes, that's a kid. She is seriously using a kitty as a pillow. That's the most unrealistic thing so far. No cat would ever agree to this. A large cat is serving as the soundly sleeping Makina's pillow. I'd taken it for a stuffed animal at first glance. It sure looks like a fluffy toy, but when I draw close, the stubby ears buried in its fur twitch like miniature radar antennas. Yeah, that's a cat, alright. My next question, why sleep out here, soon resolves itself. I see. It's definitely nice and cool here. Cats are knowledgeable about cool places. Or so they used to say. As for Makina, I'd expect she was wandering around by herself, as per usual. Then grew exhausted and collapsed into sudden sleep on the spot. I watched the partially gnawed apple on Makina's chest rise and fall with her breathing. She fell asleep in the middle of eating. Just like a baby. I noticed that Makina's mouth is half open and dripping transparent drool. Not to mention her hair is a scruffy mess. The ribbon on her uniform's crooked. She's wearing different socks on her left and right leg. Yeah, I noticed that too. I just didn't say anything about it. What's with this girl? I don't know, man. She's clearly just doing her own thing, living in her own world. As I look down upon her, Makina suddenly snuffles noisily. What a weirdo. It's been a while since the last time I laughed at a woman's sleeping face. Even as I'm filled with the desire to keep watching, discomfort at the peaceful atmosphere of this place also wells up within me. What? Hello there! At that moment, I sense someone watching me, and look over to find that Makina's pillow cat has woken and is staring up at me in surprise. He's like, "Ah! What are you doing here? Who are you?" Sorry to bother you. Go back to sleep. I leave them, taking care to avoid making noise, and sit down under a tree a little ways away. Sounds like we're walking on sand or something. Whew. Wandering around as she pleases, then falling asleep in the nearest cool place when she gets tired. I see, she certainly does remind you of a cat. I'm envious. That's not sarcasm or anything. I'm genuinely envious of Makina. I'm sure she brings that little pocket of naturally peaceful space with her wherever she goes. I think that's something worth envying, and it's probably very precious to her as well. Which might well be why she doesn't want to step outside the sanctuary of a school when she can avoid it. Inside this sanctuary, that world that would crumble in a moment without the protection of others. Wonder if the day will come when I too can sleep in that utterly defenseless way. Turning towards the sound, I noticed the fat white cat from before appearing from the direction of the thicket I just left. Rustling its way through the foliage on stubby legs, it stops suddenly when it spots me sitting under the shade of my tree. Glaring at me with sleepy-looking eyes, it lets out a single disgruntled meow. My bad. After getting suddenly awoken in the middle of a pleasant nap, it's only natural. If I were pulled out of bed by a Sunday morning by some pushy religious solicitors, I'm sure I'd make a similar face. Although the fat cat doesn't seem to have accepted my apology, he snuffles roughly and lumbers away from this place. As I'm watching the cat's dignified exit, the bushes start to rustle again. I hear the sound of a dim-witted creature awakening and lazily stretching out its body. When I take a look, Makina is crouched on the ground on all fours, bending her back. She really is a cat in human form. Makina opens her mouth, holds down a yawn, and rubs roughly at the tears spilling out of the corner of her eyes. Definitely sounds like me. After a restless look around the area, she draws herself up off the ground. It's not like I'm doing anything to be ashamed of. Before I realize it, I've hidden myself from her. Just standing stock still for a moment, Makina takes a bite from the apple in her hand and wanders off briskly. Where's she off to now? It doesn't look like she's got any particular destination in mind. Driven by an interest I find difficult to pin down, I decide to quietly follow Makina. Morbid curiosity, I guess. There's no regularity to Makina's actions. Just when I think she's walking straight towards something, she'll come to a sudden stop, look around restlessly, and head off in a different direction. Doesn't seem like she's lost or anything, so I suppose she's just moving wherever her whims take her. Unfortunately, that randomness makes it pretty tough to tail her. Wouldn't it be a serious problem if she noticed me? But if I just call out to her now, I have the feeling she'll scamper off again. I skillfully hide my presence and continue shadowing her movements. Hey, we're in the courtyard! Somehow I feel like I've seen this before. Tailing a girl without her knowledge, objectively speaking, I guess this would be stalking. Just as I'm finally starting to get fed up with following Makina's directionless rambling, which resembles the random staggering of a sleepwalker more than anything else, the rare wandering monster in question comes to a sudden halt. Her resting place is an area on the outskirts of the school's courtyard in front of an artificial cement pond of uncertain purpose. Aww, look at her. Makina totters her way up to the pond, thrusts her hand in the pocket of her skirt to retrieve some half-eaten white bread, and starts tearing off chunks to throw into the water. Every time Makina's small hand hurls a bit of bread into the pond, a loud splashing sound resonates from the surface of the water. Aww. Apparently someone stocked it with fish and she's feeding them. She fattening them up to eat? Clawfish. Clawfish. Makina looks around the area rapidly, grabs a short tree branch lying nearby, then leans over the depths of the pond and begins poking into the water. Although I was puzzled there for a moment, it seems like she's trying to capture a crawfish she spotted in the pond. She really wants it, just a little bit. This looks risky. Given her character, it's obvious she'll be taking a face-first dive into the pond very soon if I just sit here. I approach Makina from behind and call out to her. Hey, watch out or you'll fall into the pond. You might just help her do that anyway. Yep. God damn it. I guess I shouldn't have called to her out of nowhere. Makina's hand slips off the ground in a stereotypical slapstick pratfall. Whoops. Swiftly reaching out to the floundering Makina, I firmly seize the collar of her school uniform and pull her back to safety. Dangled by the nape of her neck like a kitten, Makina lets out a feline cry. You're light. Are you even 40 kilos? There isn't any difference in weight from that backpack I'm always carrying. Given this weight and size, I could lug her a good 25 kilometers in a single day. She's like, put me down. Just like a cat. Just like a cat when they're groaning at you to let them down. Like, oh, sorry. Yeah. I wasn't planning to call out to you, but it's better than letting you fall into the pond, isn't it? She's like, yeah, I guess. No need to thank me. I did the natural thing given the circumstances. Look at me, shamelessly doing the life-saving hero number, despite being in large part responsible for the problem in the first place. I might have the makings of an American politician. Yes. Yes, you do. Makina gives a quick bow of thanks and without another word starts to run away from me yet again. Hey, hold it! Where do you think you're going? Look at me. Why are you running away from me? Really? You're not running away, huh? When she asks me point blank, it's not like I have any particular justification for detaining her here. That said, it's kind of unpleasant to be avoided this blatantly. At the very least, if there's a good reason she's doing this, I want to know about it. I think I asked this before, but... Are you scared of me? I don't think that's it, dude. She's like, not really. If there's some reason why you're avoiding me, how about telling me? If possible, I'll try to address it. She's like, oh... Again with the silent treatment. Deciding to pursue the conversation more patiently, I squat down to match my line of sight with Makina's. Do you remember my name? That's right. Yuji's fine. Okay, then call me what you like. Oni-chan. Oni? I have to say, being called her big brother is a bit embarrassing on my end, but... Yeah, I always got the impression that her and Amane had a, junior-senior thing going on. So, sounds about right. Well, alright. Huh? When I turn around in response to the splashing sounds coming from the pond behind me, there are a number of fish gathered at the surface of the water, flapping their mouths in a demand for more food. It seems they've come to expect a handout when people stand near the pond. You still have breadcrumbs left, Makina? She thrusts her hand into her skirt pocket and rummages through its contents. You must have a lot of things in there. How do you manage that? As she talks, she pulls things out of her pockets one after the other. Items that emerge are mostly sweets like candy, chocolate, chewing gum, along with an erratic selection of tools like nail clippers, rubber bands, glue sticks. Although I've heard that women's purses are connected to the fourth dimension, this girl's pockets seem to be connected to a garbage dump. Makina carelessly rains down the rubbish that emerges on the ground around her. Jesus! One after the other? What is this? I pick up a plastic container shaped like a large film canister. Its label pasted on the side filled with numbers and symbols of uncertain meaning. Ramune! Ramune? Ramune? Not gonna steal it or anything. Here, take it. When I hold out the case to her, Makina snatches it back instantly. Wasn't going to. It's alright. I'm not gonna sneak bites of other people's food at my age. We don't trust easily, do you? Gee, I wonder who that is. Amane, huh? How did you know? We've spent a bit of time with Amane. I didn't. Just saying the first name that popped into my head. Really was her? Guess she's got a surprisingly gluttonous side. You don't say! I mean, we kind of figured it out for ourselves. It's no problem. Good as her word, Makina shoves some half-eaten bread under my face. Really? Makina, you were too sweet. No, I wasn't planning to eat it. I take the bread scraps from Makina, tear off some small pieces, and throw them into the pond. The fish at the surface struggle like a pack of piranha for the food, messily gulping it all down. Nice appetite. Huh? I thought these things were carp, but now that I get a closer look, they're actually goldfish? Bang! Oh, so that's where they came from. That's cute. From a goldfish snatching game, huh? If these were originally goldfish from a scooping game, they're almost certainly the tiny kind that sold as live food for carnivorous fish in pet shops. But these things are huge! I see that. Fish generally can keep growing as long as they're alive, so the more you feed them, the bigger they'll get. What exactly have you been giving them, though? Okay. I get it now. You know, fish don't really know when they're full. They don't feel the pain the way we do either, so they'll eat as much as you give them, even if their stomachs are bulging out. I see, I see. I mean, I know they don't exactly have a long memory span, so it makes sense, but still, kind of crazy to think about. I like how the log is just like what came before. Hell yeah. How far back does it go? About that far. Okay. Makes sense. I don't know. That looks like a typo. Because if you're trying to spell gibbing, you need 2 B's. Gibbing actually is a word according to Google. Make insulting or mocking remarks. Jeer is what it says. The one used in this context. Still, that word doesn't really make sense in this context, so I think I have a feeling that's a typo they didn't catch, because spell check only catches so many things for you. This is the 1.0 release, if you're wondering. if I, check my system settings, you can't see it unless I switch to my monitor display, my random desktop capture, but just trust me when it says 1.0 release. In fact, I can actually pull it up right now. I guess the game window doesn't like that, so it doesn't display it. So never mind, I guess. But yeah, just trust me when it says this is the 1.0 release. So this is like, the very first version of the game. The number one cause of death among aquarium fish is indigestion from being overfed. That's what it said in something I read when I was a kid, at least. I think it was a magazine called Monthly Junior Science. They mentioned it in some article about raising fish in ozonated water. Had articles on all sorts of things, not just fish. Animals, space, whatever. The older sister was a seriously dedicated reader. I'd pick up magazines like that when she was finished, although half of it went over my head. Oh yeah, didn't we all with those magazines that we read when we were younger? As I'm recalling the content of the science magazine I read back then, I suddenly remember something. Hey, Makina, you had some pickled squid in that pocket, didn't you? Giving it to the fish? No, I just want to take it out for now. Also have anything we could use as string? Cotton sewing thread. Does he want to go fishing with these fish? You'll see. Receiving the squid from Makina, I firmly tie one end of the thread around it, and then knot the other end to a tree branch I picked up at random. I think she's starting to understand. Exactly. So now I toss the squid dangling by the thread into the pond. Around the area where I threw the squid, I can see the shape of the crawfish Makina had been poking at earlier. When I jiggle the squid in front of his face, within a matter of seconds, the crawfish extends his pincers and firmly seizes the bait. There! Hooked him. See that? We did! It's a crawfish, not a clawfish. Got the wording wrong. As I dangle the captured crustacean in front of her eyes, Makina stares at it with an expression of immense curiosity. I just imagine it saying, money, 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 money. I've clearly watched too much SpongeBob. Like, I just imagine it snapping its claw. Money, 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 money. Must be a lot of edible aquatic plants or something in there. Crawfish turn red when they have abundant food. They turn blue. Ah, so that's the reason. You take a small newborn crawfish and continuously give it food like potatoes, radishes, or sardines that don't contain carotene. It'll turn blue in a month or so. I read it in a book when I was a kid and ended up trying it out myself. There were some that ended up with a lot of violet spots or white flecks, but I remember getting a few that turned deep blue as well. Fang! Look at that fang! Okay, then try to catch one yourself. I pull the captured crawfish off the squid to return to the pond and hand the fishing pole to Makina. Experiencing new things is always worthwhile. Exactly. So you might as well start by trying to catch one yourself. Be careful. Don't fall into the pond, alright? Also try to get the smallest one you can. The youngins. You are such a precious being, Makina. Makina deserves all the head pats in the world, everybody. Makina deserves all the head pats. Oh my god. This is amazing. Makina is such a precious being. Taking the crude pole from me, Makina forcefully hurls the squid into the pond. I already told you, it's crawfish, not clawfish. Is that the issue here? I mean, I do remember pronouncing snail as snail back when I was in elementary school for a while, but after my sister pointed it out to me, I stopped making that mistake. I think she's saying, I know what I said. Didn't you have someone to point out that sort of mistake for you? Your mom, for instance? Oh, I see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Makina. There's no mother in the world who hates her child was my mother's line, but by now I'm all too well aware that the world isn't that simple. I suppose there really are mothers who hate their kids. For those children, that can't be a topic they want to chat about with some stranger. An awkward attempt at consolation would backfire here. Huh? Me? Seems like I haven't gotten quite the hang of being called Oni-chan yet. You serious? How am I nice? I'm putting that in my notes. Makina must not like talking about her family. Bad memories? Bad memories? Question mark? Just wasn't interested enough to risk it. What? I stare steadily at Makina's small back, silhouetted against the pond. If you want to talk, I'll listen. Don't they say kids are cuter when they're a little dumb? Really? Can't say I've ever heard of anyone with that fierce reputation for being stupid before. Well, don't worry about it. There's nothing but idiots in my vicinity, including me. It's like I said, I'm surrounded by idiots. That is a line I have seen on t-shirts. I'm surrounded by idiots. If I went around hating people for something like that, I'd run out of supply of hate real fast. Well, there certainly are people who can't hold together their fragile sense of self-worth except by looking down on others. Even a few true idiots who take those emotions to the extreme, becoming dictators or cult leaders, and launch hunts against their inferiors. Why assume you'll be hated over something like that, anyway? That way of thinking seems counterproductive. Debase yourself by saying I'm just an idiot and you'll just puff up the many self-styled geniuses of the world. Oh, she seems very self-conscious. There's There's no point in standing around with your mouth open waiting for talent to fall from the sky. Make your own. Exactly. You can't wait for it to just fall into your arms, man. You want to prove your worth at something? You gotta put the work in. I know that for a fact. I know what it's like to do that. No matter what you do, no matter what you're doing, the most essential thing is to not give up. Fail as many times as it takes. Keep trying persistently until you can call yourself average. It's not about being average. It's not about that. It's about getting to a point that you're satisfied with. And then building upon that the next time. It's a continuous process. How do you think, to use an example that I have used before on Sonic Advance 3, my most played level is Sunset Hill Act 2. You know, I wasn't going for the very best time, like, ever right out of the gate. I didn't even know what it was. I just tried to do the best I could do. And then when I compared it, you know, to times I saw online, I was like, damn, I've still got a ways to go. And I just kept working at it. You know, getting better and better at my own pace. You know, starting out being proud of, like, you know, a 50-second run. Then, you know, I went down into the 40s, and then into the 30s. And, you know, I just kept working at it over the months and years. And every time I got to a point where I was happy with it, I'd stop for a while. But then, you know, I'd feel the urge to come back to it. And I was just like, okay, you know, it's like, I think I can do better than this. You know, coming back to it coming back to it time and again. I just wanted to keep working at it because it was my favorite stage to play. Because, you know, the main team that I use in that game is really good for that stage. And the movement was really fun. Just, it was my stomping ground. And eventually, in like 2020, 2021, I wanted to, you know, I got to the point where I wanted to start implementing, you know, something I never really used before to take it even lower. And that's when I went down into the 20s. Into, you know, the 20-second range. When I started to actually get close to what the record actually was. Then in, I think it was like the spring of 2021 or something? 2020, I think. Yeah, if I pull it up here. Years and years of on and off playing since 2014 led to this run. Which is where my record has stood ever since. A 25:32. Currently, I believe, I haven't checked the leaderboards on speedrun.com in a while. Currently, the second fastest time in the world. And that was 3 years ago. April 27th. Of 2020. Yeah, it was 2020, right around the time I started playing DDLC mods. Also, this man's time was never a world record. At the time that I set this time, it had been beaten by Worcester months in advance. Just to clarify for the record. He's the only man that I know of who has been faster than me on this level. So yeah. I know a lot about that. Makina, I know a lot about that. Even then, you're still average? It isn't about just being average. It's about getting to a point that you're satisfied with. And I have been satisfied with that time. Because in the 3+ years since I have set this time, I have never come back to work on it. Because I know, you know, this is the very best I can do. Like, I did what I set out to do. I set the TSC record for this stage. And I'm happy with that. I consider this run on the stage my magnum opus. I edged out the TSC record after years and years of on and off playing. 6 years, as a matter of fact. About 6 years of on and off work went into that time. Thousands of attempts. You know, a lot of learning, a lot of trial and error. All about putting in the work. If you want to be the best at something, you gotta put in the work. Recently, though, in the 3 years since I retired from playing that stage, recently, though, I have felt the urge to come back to it once again, to see if I can implement some of Worcester's new tech. At least, the rail thing that he did, that I thought was just too absurd to implement in a run. Because just the angle you have to jump at about halfway through the stage to go directly through the railing as opposed to like landing on the top of it and just falling down into place. I think that's just too crazy to implement into a run, but Worcester didn't. So I kind of want to come back to it to try and implement that. Because I think I can get a sub 25 with it, which would be cool. But I don't know, man. With a 3.5 year gap between my last attempt session at it, I would be so fucking rusty, dude. I'm coming in trying to relearn a segment. It's not that I don't think I've forgotten the muscle memory, because that shit is baked into me. The muscle memory for that stage. Like, that is hardwired into my brain, dude. It's going to be rewiring some of it for that section that I want to change. That's going to be the hard part, changing your muscle memory. Trust me, on a stage like that I've run thousands of times, that's going to be hard. But anyway, I'm kind of going off on a side tangent here because of Makina, so I'm going to continue now. I think you get the point. Average is just fine. If you can collect a nice group of average-leveled skills, that's already above average. You've created your own sort of talent, and you can always continue to get better. You don't have to settle for just average. Being a hard worker is a talent in its own right, were my sister's words. It really is these days. So I've seen many people I work with that just do not, have the will or initiative to work. And it's like, they are some of the worst people to work with. From that group of average skills, you can work to improve further on the things that you think you're suited for. A person blessed with talent, in a manner of speaking, is just someone who found a path well suited to them early on. Exactly! When you get down to it, people can accomplish nearly anything as long as they don't give up. Which is what I love to preach. Yuji gets it, guys. Yuji gets it. Yuji fucking gets it, guys. That's what I love to preach, in all of the runs that I do. The power of the human spirit is indomitable, and if you stay dedicated to something, and you don't give up, you can do almost anything you can set your mind to. Obvious, but it's true. On the other hand, guys who give up at the first setback will never get anything done. Exactly. There's no need to rush. You're still a kid. You got time. Try out anything and everything. Struggle around as much as you want. I rest my hand on Makina's head with a gentle thump. It's at just the right height for this sort of thing. That's what school is for, right? I know so. At the very least, I think the principal wants the school to be that sort of place. So you might as well throw out your chest and do as many stupid things as you want. With pride. Cerberus, that's awesome. Of course, if this girl ends up doing something truly dramatically stupid, the principal will be the one facing the music, so I'm probably overstepping my bounds just a bit here. Why not? Being dumb is fine. In the first place, guys who go around calling themselves geniuses are either weaklings with fragile egos, or jokers using the line to get a laugh. Yeah, sounds like somebody I know. Even if you were some genius, it just makes it easy to mistake yourself for a perfect human and start slacking off. Hairs like that get passed by the tortoises of the world eventually. Yup. He is a wise man, but not particularly smart. Don't get me wrong, I just wanted to try playing the nice guy. You shouldn't trust me that easily, alright? Makina is not buying it. How to put this? I'm not sure how I feel about being put in the same boat as that girl. Makina, I think you've got a bite. What do I do? In a rush, slowly pull it out of the water. She got it! Oops. Crawfish. Good job. See? People can do anything if they try. So don't give up before you start, okay? You did the thing. Okay, then you should go to Amane or Sachi and see if you can find an aquarium to raise it in. Make sure only to feed it stuff without carotene. Oh? You remembered. I put my hand on Makina's head and ruffle her hair around roughly. Well, it's certainly better than mine. Mine is very selective about what it wants to remember. Alright, better get that crawfish in water while it's still in good shape. Don't overfeed it, okay? Yeah, see you later. Makina, still clutching the crawfish, waves her hand cheerfully and takes off at full speed towards the door. Thanks. That was so precious. Oh, I love it. I don't recall doing anything worthy of much gratitude. Regardless, hearing such a happy thanks feels kind of nice. It does. It does. Maybe it's because I was raised in an environment where such words were very rare. But I think being able to thank others so freely is also a sort of talent. Probably seems perfectly commonplace to her, so I'm not sure she's not even conscious of that skill. I sort of get the feeling she may just be overlooking the talents she does have. I get it. I guess that's what makes her an idiot. They say that idiots don't catch colds, but it's probably more accurate to say idiots don't realize when they've caught a cold. Yeah, I certainly fall into that camp. I'm just like, oh, I feel shit. I actually feel sick. In the same way, because Makina is an idiot, she's probably oblivious to her own abilities. Honestly, what a weird girl. Then again, weird people are rarely boring. Exactly. Being normal is fucking overrated. And boring. Or so I think, basking in the peaceful, sluggish atmosphere Makina left in her wake. The next day. 10:20, huh? Oh, hello again, Michiru. As soon as the lecturer leaves the classroom, Michiru slumps forward onto her desk. I've only gotten through 2 periods. Are you out of stamina already? I see. Uh-oh, mechanical pencil. That's a random thing to bring up. Oh, god damn it. I don't know, maybe she's telling you to... Maybe she's trying to give you a hint and say, get your own. No, I think she's just messing with you. That's quite the imaginative leap in logic there. Amane loves it. Sachi hands Michiru a new lead for her mechanical pencil. I wonder if she gave her the wrong size by mistake. I think I have to agree with Yumiko on that one, Michiru. Jeez, selling yourself a bit short much? The courage of your average fly. Yumiko, no, that's okay, please. We don't need more of that, thank you. Ichiru's like, nope. Way to prove her right. Loose leaf notebook. Aww. Sachi's like, what was that? Ah, poor innocent Makina. A buzzkill has arrived. Do I want to know what you mean by that with Sachi? I'm willing to bet she saw some spy movie yesterday. But anyway, you've really got the works, Sachi. I think just being helpful in general. What? You're a unique one. Aw, she doesn't take flattery well. I sympathize with that, I'm the same way. Somehow that turned into a compliment. Yep. Let's see, do you have a chisel on hand as well? She does? As soon as I request it, a chisel set emerges from the depths of her desk. How about a heavy-duty stapler that can handle dozens of sheets of paper at once? I think that's asking a bit much. Standing from her desk, Sachi walks off to face a large locker at the back of the room. What's with that locker? It's twice the size of the others. Sachan's personal storehouse? Eh? God damn it, she actually does have an industrial stapler. Within a few minutes, she finds the requested item and brings it. God damn it, Sachi. That's crazy. Normally, I'd expect to have to go to a stationery store to get something like this. Yeah, what is it, like an industrial stapler? Huh? Sachi's better than a Swiss Army knife, huh? Sure, getting that impression. Are you saying her karate chop cuts sharper than a folding blade? Yeah, I knew what you meant. I see. Well, considering her apparent skill and devotion, I suppose she's well prepared to deal with most requests. How did she know that somebody would ask for like an industrial strength stapler? That's kind of wild. But I kind of love the comic antic that she just has that ready to go at a moment's notice. Like, just imagine somebody having like a staple gun or something on hand. Does it now? Oh, here we go. Probably. It sure seems that way right now. Oh, was this in the winter time? You said it was a blistering summer day. Nabe. I pulled up Google to do a search on Nabe, and one of the first things that comes up is just Starbucks boycott. Why is there a Starbucks boycott? Alright, you have yourself a good night, Zach. Sounds like you had a busy night. Nabe conference? Definition? Nabe pot? Hot pot. Just tell me what the hell a nabe is. There's apparently an association called Nabe. Hot pot. Yep, catch someone doing something wrong. Well, that's nab. I want nabe. A neighborhood? God damn it, I definitely have to pull this up, Nabe hot pot. Yeah, so it's definitely some Japanese thing. Yeah, it's a type of dish. Should have figured, but makes sense. Well, let me know what you think, especially if you're playing the Switch version, like I think you are. I don't know. I think she's being sarcastic. That just by that face. Oh boy.
ってさすがに鍋は無理よね。ってあれ？
Ha!
さっちゃんどこ行ったんだろう。
Oh, funny. Oh, funny. I feel so bad for Sachi. She doesn't know they were joking.
鍋をやるために必要なものを集めに行ったんでしょ。
Yep, Yukiko's like, duh.
まさか。だって私もマキナも冗談で言ってただけなのよ。おいおい、いきなりやるって言ってもきっとできっこないし。私の耳には分かりましたってうなずいたように聞こえたけど。
Uh-huh. Oh dear.
そう言われてみればうなずいてたかも。最初は
At first, everyone was skeptical.
授業に顔を出さず4時間目の授業終了と同時に戻ってきたサチはお待たせしま
Yep,
した。
she did. God damn it. She did. I feel so bad for you, Sachi.
可愛く鼻水を垂らしながら土鍋セットと食材を抱えていたのよ。でもあの時食べたお鍋はすっごく美味しかったのよさ。そう？マキナがお菓子入れたりするから最後はゲテモノ鍋になってた。
Why does that sound like something Makina would do?
ってこら私が熱を入れて語ってるんだからスルーしないでよ。
I think you're the one that's in the peanut gallery. Incidentally, if I said I wanted nabe right now, would you be able to prepare things like you did before?
はいできますけど。
With a small nod, Sachi moves her gaze to the locker behind us. See? Seems like you really might be more versatile than a Swiss Army knife.
だからあんたも部活のこと言うのをやめなさいよ。サチには冗談が通じないんだから。
If you phrase it in the form of a request, seemingly. Yeah, alright. Alright, Sachi, let's change things up this time. Get together the ingredients for, flowing salmon noodles.
はいわかりました。
Certainly. An instantaneous response even here.
ねえあんた人が注意してあげてるそばから何やってるのよ。
We want to test her limits.
ほらもうサチが出て行っちゃったじゃない。
We wanted to put her to the test.
食材だから今度はスーパーかしら。
So I suppose it's the supermarket this time, huh?
もしくは寮のキッチンね。
Maybe. Not a problem. I really do want to try this.
じゃあなんで流しそうめん？
I don't know. You said it yourself earlier, didn't you? It's hot today, so I thought a cool meal would be best.
何よ。私のことを気にかけてくれたからって別にお礼なんて言わないんだからね。
Whatever you say. Michiru is exhausting. Sometime later. Okay, this looks about right. With a careful check of the bamboo flume that makes up the small canal, I've confirmed that the water is flowing smoothly. Having explained the gist of things to the others, I spent the last 2 periods obtaining the necessary materials and putting together a simple angled bamboo gutter on the roof. She's hungry. Aww. Oh, she's such a fun character. A few minutes after lunch break begins, my classmates, excluding Sachi, emerge.
何これ？流しそうめんの流しでしょ？
Maybe. I don't know.
そうじゃなくて、なんでそんなものが学園の屋上にある？もしかしてユウジ君が作ったの？
Yeah, there's a bamboo grove within walking distance in the direction of the mountain. so the materials weren't hard to come by. This would be the first time I've skipped class, come to think of it. Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Also, I used mozo bamboo for this thing, but when you're looking to make more intricate goods like a hamper or strainer, the more flexible madake bamboo is better suited to the job. If you can tell the difference between the two, it'll come in handy when you're trying to live off the mountains. Keep it in mind. Fair point. Oh, there you are. Sachi joins us carrying a large tote bag on her shoulder. Looks like you were able to find what we needed. Then let's start preparing for the meal. Whatever you say. She's like, how dare you! Is your reaction to everything you don't like just box cutter? They really do have a junior and senior vibe. After I distribute a pair of chopsticks and a bowl of soup for the noodles to everyone, they take up their desired positions around the bamboo gutter. Seems like flowing cement is a rare experience for everyone, not just me. In response to Michiru's yell, Sachi releases a few strands of salmon noodles into the waterway. Did it! She's like, I'll show you. Probably. This goes on for some time. Ha! Behold my skill! Makina hungry! Amane and Makina stir their empty soup bowls with hollow eyes. Because of the intense battle upstream, none of the noodles have reached their lower position. Alright, then we'll just do this. I set up another gutter that I prepared as a spare at a position below Michiru. Sachi, get some in this one as well. So this is the Japanese direct trade. No need to thank me. A long time ago I had it beaten into me not to waste the things I make. I glance to the side, where Sachi is silently floating salmon noodles down the waterway. At this rate, you're not gonna get any, Sachi. Alright, I'll secure your share. Scooping noodles directly from the original container, I deposit them in Sachi's bowl. Yeah, no problem. That's cheating! God damn it, Amane! Da! Da! A pair of observant hunters are on me in seconds. Hold it. If one starts taking noodles directly, it's not flowing salmon. Of course you would, Amane. Face on... Makina's face says it all. Ay, ay, ay. Always so forthcoming with this stuff, Amane. What is it with you and this? Sexy soul man. Nice ring to it.
ちょっとアマネ、あんたいきなり何口走ってるのよ。女の武器を使った買収ってやつ？
That's fair. Yup.
それなら私もやるのよさ。
I don't think that is quite the same thing, Makina. Bribery through feminine wiles.
もう何なのよこの子たちは。ほら、小峰さん、手が止まってるわよ。すみません。突然授業を休みたいというから何をするのかと思えば、屋上で流しそうめんとはね。
What? Jealous you didn't get any?
季節外れの転校生だけあって。
He thinks in interesting ways, as expected, huh? It is now 1:15. I've heard it takes about 3 days to get a cat to take to you. A girl named Irisu Makina got attached to me even faster than that. Yes, this is the same Makina who used to flee the instant she laid eyes on me. I don't know what changed her mind. Lately it's been quite the opposite, with her approaching me on sight. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, true. Not that she's particularly talkative. After a small greeting, she tends to just tag along in silence. Nothing wrong with that. Need something? Not really, she says. Honestly speaking, getting followed around for no reason like this is a little annoying. That said, there's no reason for me to coldly shoo her away either. You don't need to go to afternoon class? Wow, must be nice. I see. In other words, she's probably just bored. The schedule at this school is divided between the core curriculum in the morning and optional courses in the afternoon. It's not rare for a few of my classmates to be lazing around by the vending machines after lunch. If you've got nothing to do, how about going back to the dorm and studying? Is what I'd like to say, but come to think of it, I'm also wandering around wasting my free 5th period. Guess I don't exactly have the right to lecture Makina. Want something to drink? I dig my hand around in my pocket, searching for small change. Holding out her right palm toward me to declare it's fine, Makina takes something that looks like a green stuffed animal from her pocket. The vaguely frog-shaped question mark thing seems to be a purse, as its red mouth opens wide with the snap of metal bearings. Checking out a few coins, Makina buys a juice box from one of the vending machines lined up in the passage, then returns to my side. I will take a sip of my water in solidarity with you, Makina. Similarly, I drink quietly from my paper cup full of oolong tea. Hey! I know a certain tea lover would be proud. True. Now we're repeating ourselves. Yeah, we're going in circles here. Probably evidence that we're both puzzled over how to get a conversation started. I'm familiar with this. Who was it that told me the man has to break the ice in situations like this? Of course, I'm not confident I could pull that off if I tried. What do I talk about with a girl like Makina? I don't know, man. Stories. Stories. It's a fairly standard request, but I'm not sure where to go with this. What sort of story? Huh. A fair request. A cool story. Huh. That's a bit tricky. When you're looking for a chilling tale, I think ghost stories are the standard choice. Yeah, I don't think that's the kind of cool story she means. Fortunately, I'm not lacking in that department. A legacy of the time I spent at my old school. Alright then. This is something I heard from an upperclassman at my previous school. This is the story of an American soldier who found himself on a southern island in a night flooded with lukewarm rain. The soldier was making his way south through the darkened jungle amid the pelting downpour, following a native trail with 8 companions. Their objective was an enemy anti-aircraft position. The rain had been falling for 2 days straight, leaving the ground swampy as a paddy field. With the moon hidden by thick storm clouds, soldiers couldn't even see the back of the comrade walking 2 or 3 meters ahead. The squad's nerves were already worn by the suggestive darkness of the night jungle, but the relentless rain piercing through the tree canopy was slowly sapping their endurance as well. And on top of it all, the rough map they had received from the scouts was vague to the point of uselessness, good for little but further fueling their anxiety. As the squad trudged on at a virtual crawl through the knee-deep mud, it was inevitable that their formation grew increasingly loose. So the American soldier, a sniper bringing up the rear of the column, was desperately struggling to avoid getting separated from the rest of his unit. Eventually, he heard a distinctive clacking from some distance in front of him, rising above the sound of the rain. He recognized the sound as the castanets. The platoon leader carried as a means to communicate at night, or in poor visibility conditions where hand signals were impractical. The number of times he clacked indicated an order to halt on the spot. The man dropped to one knee in the muddy water, grasped his rifle to his breast, and removed the lens cap from his scope, shielding it from the rain. An enemy ambush? I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it definitely is familiar. Lying flat on the spot, the man pressed his strong eye against the gun's sight. The back of the soldier in front of him came into view. No shots had been fired as of yet. Earlier reconnaissance had indicated that there were barely any enemy troops or armed guerrillas in this area. If there were enemies here, the odds were that they would be scouts, and most likely a fairly small group. As the man rested his chin in the muddy water to watch the jungle ahead, he heard the first sounds of gunfire. Enemy wasn't even 30 meters away from his squad. They had practically bumped into each other. 6 lines of fire from the enemy position. Just as he'd thought, it seemed to be a small scouting group. Judging from the reckless way they opened fire blindly, they were probably poorly trained guerrillas who panicked after encountering their enemy under these unusual conditions. Removing his gaze from the scope, the man grasped his weapon and pulled back the bolt handle, pushing a 7.62mm bullet into the exposed chamber. He quickly returned his dominant eye to the eye cup of his sight. The muzzle flashes visible through the scope burned white after images onto his pupil, fully dilated after his long walk in the darkness. He couldn't see the enemy. Aiming on intuition alone, he squeezed the trigger. A momentary explosion of light from his gun, and he heard an enemy's grunt from the bush some 30 meters away. A hit! The man took his rifle in both hands and began to crawl on his elbows and knees in search of a new firing position. After moving about 10 meters to his left, he discovered a convenient foxhole that would serve his purpose nicely. When he swung his body down into the hole, he found it was half full of stagnant water, just as he'd expected, but that fact barely registered in his mind. More importantly, from a position like this, he could snipe while hidden for a time. Sunk to the waist in the muddy water, he mechanically pulled back his rifle's bolt and squeezed the trigger. Again, and again, and again. All of a sudden, he heard a voice from the next foxhole. Since when had it been occupied? Hey, give me a grenade. In response, the man took an M67 grenade from the belt slung around his waist and held it out, the safety pin still fixed in place. A white hand reached out from the nearby trench and received it. Thank you. The man was certain he heard those words. No matter how long the man waited, his comrade didn't throw the grenade. Maybe the safety pin was bent somehow and he couldn't get it loose? Hey, you okay? As the man was speaking those words, he started to move his head to look above the edge of his encampment. At that moment, the grenade exploded in the next foxhole. An explosion at point-blank range isn't something you hear. The overpowering waves of sound aren't recognized by your ears as noise. A mass of burning air struck the man like a wall, knocking the helmet off his head and thrusting his body backward into the muddy pool. His mouth, thrown open by the explosion, was instantly filled with filthy water. As the man desperately tried to spit it out, he realized his tongue had been knocked back into his throat. He couldn't breathe. Quickly thrusting his hands into his mouth, the man peeled his tongue free with his fingers and powerfully vomited out the water together with the breath that had gathered in his lungs. His throat was burning from inhaling the explosion's scorching wind, and he couldn't stop the tears that were pouring down from his face. His head felt like it had taken a direct hit from a fastball made of concrete. His eyes were filled with a high-pitched ring. His ears were filled with a high-pitched ringing. Hey, you alright? Get it together! Curled up in the muddy water with his head in his hands, the man heard the voice of a comrade. At least his eardrums hadn't shattered. He felt himself being dragged up out of the foxhole by both arms. You gotta move! Temporary withdrawal. Can you walk? It took all the man's effort to nod his head. He couldn't see. His ears were barely functional. His throat was on fire. He couldn't even speak. The man began to run his hands across the ground in a panic. His comrade knew what he was looking for. The man felt his rifle pressed back into his hands. Reassured by the familiar feel of his weapon, the man slung it onto his shoulder. His hands still clutching the ground, he fled that place at a crawl. Had 30 minutes passed? When the man came to himself, the rain had, ironically enough, finally stopped. His vision had largely recovered. When he looked around, he saw his companions, all just as filthy with mud. Hey, Shorty! You still alive? The sniper was still skirting along the ground when that voice called to him. It belonged to a black man who joined the army at the same time as him. They'd been in the same squad in their training days as well, and the black man was his closest friend in the platoon. His greeting was casual, as always. Give me a break. The man re-shouldered his beloved rifle and told his friend about the hand grenade accident. That voice from the next foxhole. The grenade he handed over in response. Moments later, the explosion. The man angrily spat out the details of his brush with death through another's stupidity. The black man listened in silence. When the story was over, after a brief pause, he finally spoke. Huh? The hell are you talking about, Shorty? The black man said his story was impossible. You think of it, of course it was. The man was the unit's bird man, the rear guard, the end of the line. Usually, the bird man marched 10 to 20 meters behind the squad. There was no way an ally would have been encamped only 2 or 3 meters from this position. Even considering his movements to change his firing position, he couldn't have met anyone until the unit broke into retreat. I mean, let's say you're right and some jackass dropped a grenade in his own foxhole. Okay, who was that? When the man looked around his surroundings, all 8 of the squad's other members were accounted for. A few were lightly wounded, but clearly none of them had been on the receiving end of a grenade blast recently. So, who the hell did you give that grenade to? In response to his friend's words, a shiver ran down the man's spine. Okay. After rejoining the main force and completing his report, the man told his story to a grizzled veteran. The sergeant major had an explanation of sorts for him. The place is right around the site of an old battle where many Americans died. Among them were many wounded who'd been cruelly, slowly butchered by guerrillas with spears and bayonets, and some who had reached to the grenades on their waist and pulled out the pin rather than be tortured to death. So in the end, who'd taken the man's grenade? Perhaps a lingering spirit still clinging to the battlefield, even in death? Or so the story went. What do you think? Get a bit of a chill? Aww, poor Makina. I mean, I could just look back at my own playthrough. Oh, sorry about that. Get it. Aww, poor Makina. My bad. You're the one that asked for a story, that's what you get. Huh? Sure. Got it. Makina throws her empty juice box into a trash can and starts to patter away. As usual, she leaves just as quickly as she arrives. But this time, after walking about 3 meters, Makina stops on the spot and turns back to me. Huh? What? Life after death? Huh. Can't say for sure since I've never experienced it firsthand. If you believe in it, maybe there is. In the army, there's a popular story about an afterlife exclusively for soldiers. It's a story you'll find in the armed forces of pretty much any country. Pretty much identical form. If you believe an afterlife is waiting for you, it will be. I'm sure it's something like that. With those words, she runs off, this time without looking back. I don't think I said anything particularly interesting, but hearing words of thanks naturally lightens my mood anyway. Drinking up the remaining oolong tea with a gulp, I throw the empty cup in a trash bin and walk off towards our classroom for 6th period. I need more water. 11:23 now. Who pinged me? Ah, you found it, did you? It's in part 3. Right at the 2-hour mark when they did the story time thing. It was back on the old layout too. That's how you know it was pre-new layout earlier this year. Within a few days of entering the school, I had a rough idea that Suo Amane fits this busybody woman classification. But I have to admit I wasn't expecting her to extend her meddling to me quite so quickly. Though I suppose it's inevitable that we'd run into each other a lot since we live in the same dorm. It seems like she's coming up to me at every free moment and playing the big sister. Wish she'd just put herself in my shoes. It's not easy having to politely shoot her down every time. Speak of the devil. Not wasting any time, are ya? I'm not sure how she got the idea in her head. But lately, every time a break begins, Amane's been clinging to me from behind. Then forcefully pressing her oversized lumps of breast blubber against me, as if to say, check it out, I'm the big tits character. The way they droop just a little is very popular with the enthusiasts. He's just like, God damn it, woman, leave me alone. Look, you're heavy. Remove your chest flap from my head. No, I just don't think he likes being sit on. On the contrary, I'm something of a fan. I'd prefer that. The man sexually harasses me. At least I can knock him flat without feeling guilty about it. God damn it. What do you want from me? Have something to say, then spit it out already. Really, that's all. Thanks, sis, but I'm a big boy now. So could you please get lost? No, it isn't. Stop that. But dainty little thing. I'll break more easily than you think. God damn it, Amane. They say a snapping turtle won't release prey from its bite even if lightning strikes nearby. Amane is a similar beast. Once she clings to me, my only release is the sound of a bell. This is so absurd. This is so absurd. This is so ridiculous. This woman kept a pet cat. I'm positive it would go bald from stress within a week. Not confident my own hair will be safe if I allow these assaults to continue. It's about time I get my message across, even if it requires taking a somewhat harsh attitude. Amane, that's about enough. Just as I begin to shout, Sakaki appears with spectacular timing. So she does she? Yukiko grimaces at Amane's response, her glare is expressive. Where are you supposed to be?
地歴の授業で使うプロジェクターの準備があるでしょ。ああ、そうか。今日の日着私とマキナだ。イリスさん一人で準備を始めたけど放っておいていいの？ごめんユージ君、私行かなきゃ。
Silly Amane. Don't mind me.
急いだ方がいいわよ。またイリスさんが機材を壊す。
Uh-oh. She finally released me. What a noisy woman.
あれ、わざとああしてドタバタして見せているのよ。ネクラだってバレるのはそんなに怖いのかしら。
What do you mean? Depressive?
昔のスオーさんのように無駄にうじうじしているよりはマシだと思って私は諦めることにしたわ。
Really? So she wasn't always like this, huh? That's what you're saying. She was very timid before, huh? You make it sound like you're familiar with her past. Have you known Amane that long?
そうね。と言っても知り合ってまだ1年程度だけど。
So it was a year or so ago she made the change, huh? So Amane wasn't always like this? I already figured that out, Yuji.
彼女に興味があるの？
Just don't understand the woman. Why does she drape herself all over me like that?
私が知るわけないじゃない。彼女に直接聞いたらどう？
I did. Just the other day, having stocked up on necessities for my new dorm life at the local supermarket. I was wandering leisurely around the area in front of the station.
あれ？ゆうちゃんじゃん。何してんの？こんなとこで。
Ugh, don't call me that.
なんで？かわいいじゃん。
Spare me. I can't get any cuter than I already am. All the other girls will get jealous and start picking on me.
そういう言い回し、誰かに似てるって言われない？
Like who?
さあ、それより何？お買い物？
Amane pointed at the plastic supermarket bag dangling from my hand.
ボックスティッシュに乾電池、サラダ油にマヨネーズ、あとはレトルトのカレーにデンタルフロス。
Look, you, don't just start rifling through my bag.
カレーを買うなら南口の山陽より北口の松栄の方が安いよ。もやしも松栄さんなら1袋29円だし。
You're as knowledgeable as always. Do you wander around comparing prices all day long?
別に毎日ってわけじゃないけど、買い物のたびにチェックはしてるかな。
Huh. She's got an impressive devotion to economizing. I felt definite admiration since my master was a sort of wild woman who bought things without even looking at the price tag. I usually don't pay too much attention to that.
牛乳、卵、野菜を買うなら松栄さん。お魚、お肉、トイレットペーパーを買うなら山陽三平を。
I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. Well, I'm not that caught up on the price. I appreciate the thought, but I just want a store that's convenient. It's all well and good to wander around looking for bargains, but when you consider the increased effort and consumption of time involved, getting too picky frequently turns into a loss. Oh, that it does.
まあ、男の子はそうだよね。
Yes. Yes, we are. We are not picky. You know, there's a great graphic that I have seen for this. And it's a diagram that displays, like, you know, the aisles of a shopping store. A shopping store. Yeah, great one. Great comparison to that. You know, just a supermarket, whatever. But, you know, say on, like, the left side, you have how men shop. You know, go directly to the aisle they're looking for, grab the thing, go check out. And then on the other side is, I hate to stereotype, you know, how women shop. And it's just, you know, wandering all over the fucking place, looking at fucking everything. Just squiggly lines all over the place. Comparing anything and everything. To, you know, get the best prices on everything. And then flip the two when we're talking about games. Priorities, am I right? That's right. I'll be going. Yeah, I did finish my shopping. Me when I walk into CEX. Yep, I always just go right for what I'm looking for unless I have no reason to be where I am. Stand around for 15 minutes and buy one item. Yep. That's me when I go to the retro game shop near where I live. I go there, look around and stuff, and maybe buy one thing. As soon as the words left her mouth, Amane was standing by my side, firmly grasping my hand. She really does try to put on this big sister act, doesn't she? So how are you doing, Brad? How is your morning going? Doing alright? That's good. I'm having a heck of a time with this game. It is just as wild as the first day, It's just as wild as part 1, I'll say that. Amane is still doing Amane things. Yep. Yep. Amane is still doing Amane things. And we got to spend some time with Makina in the first half of the episode today. And oh my god. Oh my god, she's adorable. She is such a precious being. I love her. Oh my god, she's amazing. What do you think you're doing? Premarital hand-holding. Makina is adorable but has a mouth. Fists, of course. In demonstration, I raised the hand that Amane had gripped, or rather captured, her fingers entwined tightly with mine. What am I? A kid who won't go home unless Mama pulls him there? I've got to admit, I don't remember acting quite that adorably, so I'm very interested in where you're coming from here. Still gripping my right hand tightly, Amane raised the forefinger of her other hand against her lip and racked her brain for an answer. At least in the anime, she had some one-liners that made me laugh. Oh no. Amane, why? Oh, is that it? If it's role-playing, then I guess I'll have to play along. You really think I'd say that? Off! I forcefully yanked my arm free, shaking off Amane's grip. If you think that puppy dog face made me act nice or out of guilt, you're very wrong. Don't flirt in public. It's a rule of mine. One that Amane has violated many, many times already. Like, let's be real here. Amane has already violated that rule many, 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 many times. And it's only part 2. What'd I tell ya? She knows how to poke and prod, dude. Stop twisting my words. The point is, I can't think of a single reason why I should hold hands with you. Because I want to, of course. That's not an answer to the question why you want to hold hands. Really? Some kind of obsessive compulsive disorder? What sort of accident was it?
それが3つ
Sure. The hell?
やだ怒らないでよ冗談なんだから
I knew it. As she spoke, Amane took my hand for the second time. Joking? When did the joke start? Ugh, this is irritating. Take the left at least. Can't calm down when someone's got my hold on my dominant hand.
別にね手を握ることに深い意味なんてないよただせっかく同じクラスになったんだし仲良くしたいなってそう思っただけ
Where I come from, people tend to interpret hand-holding as something else. That you guys are a thing. So, something to think about there. Why get friendly with me?
それ理由がいる君は子供の頃とか友達を作るのに損得や理由を考えてた
Nope. Hard to say. Didn't have any.
じゃあ逆に聞くけどどうして私じゃダメなのかな
I wouldn't say I don't. I just want to understand your motive. I was gonna say, I don't think you want to know the reason to that, you, Amane.
仲良くしましょうよ
Oh, did you now? What was it before? Let's be friends, she says. You're a weird one.
うちの学校で変じゃない子って一人もいないよ多分
Yeah, I figured it out. It was Steins Gate Zero at like 18 episodes in a row, but now you've watched 24 in a row. God damn! Parasite the Maxim. I'm going back.
帰ろう
Let's. Having moved to my left as requested, Amane didn't mess around any further. On her way back, she calmly acted her age. Holding hands really did seem to be enough to satisfy her. Doubts did run through my head. Considering it's only been a few days since we met, she's bizarrely friendly. But still, as she is a member of our class full of special cases, despite her relatively normal facade, Amane must have her own unhappy circumstances. This hand-holding may well have some meaning for her.
で
I don't know about that.
彼女の過去を鑑みるにスキンシップを無下に断るのも気が引けるのでうやむやのうちに黙認していたら最近富に目に余るほど過剰な接触をするようになってきた
Sounds about right to me. Yeah, that's a while. We'll make a detective out of you yet.
何を偉そうに
Guilty as charged. Sakaki, what sort of accident was Amane involved in?
知らない
If it's not something you can talk about, I'll leave it alone.
そうじゃなくて本当に知らないのよあまり興味もないし
Oh,
でももちろん
motor vehicle accident.
という話ね
Ooh, that doesn't sound particularly pleasant at all. A car crash? You know what your binging reminds me of? When, I decided I wanted to spend a weekend binge watching, Sonic X again for some reason. I watched the whole thing, all 78 episodes, 26 per season, in a matter of, I think, what, 2 days? 2-3 days? That was like, I think, over 12 hours a day. Rarely ever, taking a break to eat something. And let me think, like, each episode I want to say was like 25 minutes long or something. It's been ages since I watched, but yeah, 78, 25, 1,950 minutes. So yeah, that's about 32 and a half hours of content in a period of, I think, like, between 48 and 60 hours. I think it was like 2.5 days or something. So yeah, I know a thing or two about binging a show because you really want to watch it. I rarely ever do that because I don't watch too many shows. But yeah. Yeah, you've been talking to me about those RGB lights you set up. I'm glad you like them. Maybe someday I'll get something like that for my own setup here. But right now I think the light show in my PC tower is enough to satisfy me. Car crash? A bus? Huh. Then why was she so persistent about it? Maybe she lost somebody she cared about? Because she didn't hold on to them? Leon Lee have the coolest RGB? Uh-huh. That they do. Just a little overpriced? Yeah, I had some money to throw at this, so I went with a budget that's probably more than, you know, my mate was used to. So, you know, he really could go hog wild on it, and I was very appreciative of that. Maybe her eyesight is bad? Yeah, that's nice. Does bad eyesight make you want to hold hands? That is pretty nice. Definitely. Plausible theory, but I'm having a hard time buying it in her case. In the first place, are her eyes that terrible? Yep. I'm wasting my breath talking to you. Touché. Guess we're done here. Or we would be, if I hadn't just spotted Kamine Sachi out of the corner of my eye. Hey Sachi, you have a minute? Do you know anything in particular about Amane's past? Spoken like a true person of the service industry, Sachi. Spoken like a true service member. Huh. So in other words, nobody knows the whole story? Touché. Huh. Touché. As long as the person in question doesn't want to discuss it, I suppose I shouldn't pry any further. Yeah, you don't say. And in the first place, I'm a little dubious that Amane's past really has anything to do with holding my hand. Huh. That's taking things in a new direction. Specifically, what do you think I did? Okay, now you're just being hypothetical. Oh, you're funny, Yumiko. What's so funny? Oh, whatever. Neither rings a bell. I have no memories of us being lovers in a previous life, either. Whatever you say.
何かこうクラスメイトの男子とそういうデートじみたことがしてみたかっただけなのではないでしょうか。
Yeah, but she's a little too forward about all this. You think so? Incidentally, Sachi, does that mean you've got an interest in holding hands and going on a date with me as well?
手をつなぐこと自体は嫌ではないですし、俺と手をつなげデートをしろとそう強く命令していただければ絶対に断らないと思いますけど。
Poor Sachi. I see. Thank you for your valuable opinion. I'll file it under not helpful in the slightest. Oh my god. Poor Sachi. How about you, Sakaki?
私があなたと手をつないでデート？
Right. Got any interest?
困ったわ。どう答えればあなたを傷つけずに済むのかしら。
I get the picture. Thanks so much for your compassion. So in the end, asking around didn't get me anything resembling a clear answer. From what Sakaki says, it doesn't seem like Amane wants to hold hands indiscriminately. The mystery's only deepened. Speak of the devil. Okay. Oh, Makina, what would we do without you? Just at that moment, Amane enters the classroom, pulling Makina by the hand, oblivious to our gossiping. I point my thumb towards the pair in their connected hands. You said Amane doesn't have a habit of holding hands, right? This is true, Yumiko. This is true. You're absolutely right about that. Oh my goodness. Sakaki watches Amane and Makina as she speaks. Suddenly, she claps her hands together as if struck by a burst of insight. Nice try. Say what? Wait, what? I've been put in the same category? Bro, don't overthink it, that was an insult. A kid like this who you half expect to get lost tottering after a butterfly? What a seriously unpleasant thought. It was just a jab, calm down. Maybe. I appreciate that you're probably trying to help, but that's basically an indirect way of saying you look like a hopeless man. Told you. I told you that was an insult. Sakaki, could you please stop rubbing salt in the wound without even realizing it? It kind of stings. That's kind of the whole point. Mind answering one last question for me? She's like, what? Is there even a single normal person in this school? I think you know that's a loaded question, Yuji. Yeah, we're not getting the normal school life we were promised. Touché. Don't think you've got some special variety of unhappiness. Sensing the admonition underneath Sakaki's words, I feel the stirrings of something like shame. Whether it's normal or not, this student life isn't bad in its own way. I've started to like this place enough to reach that conclusion. Yep, June 9th, 2:07 p.m. A hobby is a window that gives you a fresh perspective on the world. Or so my sister said. Uh-huh. Those are the best hobbies. When I was a kid, struggling through my daily life was about all I could handle. I disliked and avoided change, even when it might have brought me something new. So my sister's recommendation was to at least try reading books. At least books don't change. Ugh. But yeah, when you live around software all your life, you either love change or you hate it. When it comes to games, oh my god, especially games that I love, I hate change. That sister of mine was an unbelievably voracious bookworm herself, and she began to push the ones she finished on me. I soon picked up a reading habit, although I didn't find any particular meaning in it at the time. My sister's dead now, as are my parents and my master, yet I'm still reading. The sister who taught me to read books, the parents who weren't angry at me when I was reading books, and the master who praised me for reading books, buying me as many as I wanted. I'm grateful to them now, since I've found some meaning in the act of reading. Huh! Hello! Ugh. What do you want? Yeah? I turn around in response to Yumiko's greeting and find her carrying a sizable load of paperback and hardcover books. Why are you acting like Yuji's sister all of a sudden? Sure, appreciate it as always. Whatever you say, Yumiko. Whatever helps you sleep at night. As anyone with a long-term reading habit is well aware, books pile up before you know it. Oh yeah, just like as a seasoned gamer will tell you, you are going to develop a backlog eventually. That's why I've got a backlog series now, because it's so damn big that I can't ignore it anymore. That said, it's hard to just throw them away, and selling them to a used bookstore feels disrespectful to the author. The ideal is to find another avid reader to dump them on. Yep, just like finding another gamer to give them to is ideal. Incidentally, before I came, Sakaki had apparently been pushing the books she finished onto the library. By now, she's established her own private shelf in there, full of pleasure reads. Most likely, she spotted me by coincidence as she was carrying her books there and figured she could save herself the walk. Heavy, right? Here. I slide my hands under the book Sakaki is carrying. Watch it. Don't take your hands off yet. The books are gonna fall. Purely unintentional. Of course it is. Don't worry, my hygienic standards are higher than you might expect. You complain too much. Alright, I got a hold on them. Can let go now. Thanks, I'm well aware. Anyway, I'll gratefully read the books. When I finish one, I'll return it to the Sakaki collection. So if you want to reread any of them, they'll be in the library. Whatever. Yeah. I take a quick look at the titles of the books I'm holding. Sohei Akai, The Decisive Pudding Battle. Kumbata Takeru, Yesterday's Black Cat. Hirao Atsuko, The Exit of the Desert. Sino Takumi, Professor Takeda's Dinner, Eating Crow, An Insolent Woman. Shinonome Kazuna, You Blew It, Omori. Man, why does that name sound so familiar to me? It's almost like I have a PlayStation 4 copy sitting on my shelf that I need to get to at some point. Although she reads quite a variety of genres and authors, it seems that Sakaki fundamentally likes whodunits. Of the 6 books she passed me, 4 of them are mysteries. Come to think of it, I could easily see Sakaki sitting at a detective's desk using her brains for a living. Oh yeah, easily. Flipping open one of the books, I speak toward the shadow of a nearby pillar. Makina, how long do you plan on hiding there? Thought you was sneaky. I'm not mad or anything. How about you come out? More Makina being Makina. Your aura is too crude. I can sense even when you're hidden. I just said that for the hell of it. You were casting a shadow on the floor. I could tell it was you from the height of his shaggy head. You catch on fast. Pretty much. Why were you hiding in the first place? You don't get along with Sakaki? Aww. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure Sakaki said something like, I think Irisu-san avoids me on purpose. You're in a state of mutual wariness. Well, I suppose that does happen sometimes. Sakaki, a guarded person who doesn't reveal her thoughts easily, and Makina, feels most secure when she's burrowed her way into someone's heart. Their personal comfort zones may be incompatible. Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, it's foolish to expect everyone to get along with everyone else in the entire world. Yep, it's just never gonna happen. There's too many people, too many different viewpoints, too many different lives, too many different experiences. That's why I love how one of the songs at work has the lyrics, "Why can't we all just get along?" And I always just respond with, well, that's a complicated question, singer. Because it really is. It really is nowhere near as simple as the singer might think it is. Because really, there are millions of reasons why we all can't just get along. There's no need to forcibly push these two together, but at the very least, maybe some kind of mutual compromise is in order. I don't think Sakaki dislikes you, Makina, so try not to hate her yourself. I've definitely been there. Don't know what to talk about, huh? I see. Well, it's not like we're particularly close, but we have a common interest in books, so I guess that helped get things started. Of course, I get the idea that Sakaki mostly views me as little more than a convenient book disposal. Or else it's hard to say you're friendly with someone who scowls so bluntly just because your hands touch. Makina, do you have any hobbies? Solo? Yeah, you strike me as the type that would mostly keep to themselves. That's not good. God damn it, Makina! Doesn't playing by yourself sound kinda loony? Yes, if you think about it in that way. No. Also, no. At the company I work at, solitary hobbies are fundamentally discouraged. They place a lot of stress on keeping up some form of communication with others. When it comes to the interests of the employees, the basics are alcohol, women, and gambling. but it's a bit difficult to own up to that in front of the boss. Therefore, when asked, some of them just come up with a safe-sounding conventional hobby like shogi or go. Ah yes, shogi, Japanese chess. I am terrible at shogi. I've played a few games of it on this old Nintendo DS game called Clubhouse Games. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing or what the pieces do or what any kind of strategy is. I just get crushed by the computer every time. When the superiors reacted favorably to those answers, the end result was that the hobbies column in the employee survey data recorded an overwhelming number of shogi buffs. Although going with the flow is pretty much the defining Japanese characteristic, it's still something of a pathetic story. Well, having given them a nice safe hobby like reading myself, I guess I can't really say too much. Nothing, just talking to myself. Incidentally, once you're the one giving the surveys out, in other words, an executive type, the hobby of choice would be gardening. Not something you can do when you're living out of a barracks. They give you kind of an outlet to escape to. That's kind of the point of this channel. It's just a hobby thing. I just do it because I can. And because it's something I love to do. It's better to have some interests than none at all, even if they're really worthless. Yeah, exactly! I am just here playing what I want to. Playing what y'all want me to. Playing what y'all think I would like. We're all here brought together by games of various kinds. And I think that's amazing. That's what I love about doing this. Getting to meet people from all different walks of life. So in other words, it's about the friends we made along the way. It's all about the journey to me on this channel. For example, the aforementioned employees and their wine, women, and song. Even then, if they can help you find a single common interest with someone, your hobbies are worthwhile as social lubricant, even if they're worthless in every other respect. Exactly! This is something I heard secondhand from a senior employee at my job. Sometimes you get cases like this. Oh boy, story time again. This is a story about a man who took a business trip to Gifu Prefecture. It was a group expedition with the purpose of field testing new equipment that had just been deployed throughout his company. At the time, the man in question was a new employee, not even out of his training period. Nonetheless, he found himself taking a long, bumpy ride into the mountains on a company bus, accompanied by the chief of his special department. The man didn't have the first clue why he had been selected for the trip, let alone what he expected to do on it. To make matters worse, he was sitting next to a powerful superior he barely knew. In short, the man was about ready to vomit from sheer terror and anxiety. He fought desperately to keep calm, but his face was pale as a sheet. The bus finally reached its destination at the foot of Mount Kinka in Gifu after many unpleasant hours. The man's relief was temporary, as his boss informed him they would be attending a large banquet in a high-class inn that night. Corporate banquets are basically a cruel kind of talent show. New employees were expected to perform some skill for the amusement of the gathered VIPs. Ah, great. The newbies from each department mounted the stage one after another. Quite a few croaked out popular karaoke ballads with stiff faces, but there were also some pretty competent juggling acts. Even one stand-up comedy duo which got some laughs doing imitations of superiors. The man watched the other acts with a fluttering heart. His turn was approaching fast, but he was basically a walking, breathing lump of artistic incompetence. An asocial type without a single talent worth performing in front of others. Just as he was wondering whether he could escape by pretending a sudden illness, the man was practically kicked out onto the stage with the senior employees. For lack of a better thought, he started to sing. The man didn't know any popular songs. Worse, he couldn't remember any of the standard folk songs or children's music that might have worked in a pinch. The man went instead with the theme song from a superhero TV show, Lightspeed General Daimakarov, which he'd loved as a kid. By this point, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of despair. This was, of course, the man's first time singing in public, and he didn't have much of a voice. Within moments, he was showered in jeers from the audience. Hell are you singing? What's with you? Hey, asshole. Just making that up on the spot? That's enough. Get off the stage! You suck! Although it wasn't the type to break down in tears, the man felt a deep urge to dig himself a hole and crawl into it. Only sheer stubbornness carried him through to the last humiliating note. When it was over, the man quickly bowed from the stage and raced back to his seat. On that walk back from the stage, the man had a thought. I wish I'd learned a popular song or two. Nah, bro, I hate popular music. Popular music sucks. Well, if you look at it that way, I suppose you're right. The story isn't over yet. With the equipment test wrapped up, the man had returned to his new assignment at a branch office in Shizuoka. Someone called out to him as he was dealing with the transfer paperwork. So you were the newbie who sang Daimakarov at the banquet in Gifu? The man's breath caught in his throat. He'd figured out by now that the main job of his superiors was to flaunt their authority by picking at the smallest mistakes, and then rubbing his nose in them. And the manager speaking to him was infamous for his zealous leadership of his underlings. Zealous? Sorry. Frankly, the man was about ready to piss himself. He swallowed and chewed his lip. Better stop running through his head. What's he gonna blame on me? How long will I have to grovel? The manager's words took him by surprise. I loved that show when I was a kid. The man blinked, dumbfounded by this unexpected development. You from Hiroshima, kid? According to the manager, Daimakarov reruns were played relentlessly every weekday afternoon on the local station. In other words, practically every child in Hiroshima grew up watching the show. The man wasn't a Hiroshima native. The area he lived in as a child, the Children's Encore Theater program would broadcast old episodes of the show every summer. He'd just happened to see a few. Even so, the manager must have been really pleased to find a fellow Daimakarov fan, as he began to pull a few strings to the man's benefit. One night after work, the man returned to his bed in the company dorm to find that a white plastic bag had been tucked underneath the sheets on his neatly made bed. He didn't remember putting it there himself, and when he asked around, nobody else had any idea where it came from. The bag contained a huge jelly roll and a cup of instant ramen. As a new employee, the man had to eat dinner at a set time of 5 p.m. By 10 p.m., lights out time at the dorm, all the trainees would be starving. This supplemental meal was therefore a very considerate present. The man had an idea who was responsible. Most likely, his Daimakarov buddy at the top was the only one who could have pulled it off. On top of the early dinner time, learning the ropes as a trainee is particularly tiring. His Daimakarov buddy had probably figured he'd have a hard time getting his young body to fall asleep on an empty stomach. Are you playing Osu right now? The man actually didn't have a particularly big appetite, and wasn't the type to be troubled by irregular meals. Okay, I kinda figured. Imagine shit teleporting down the screen? Alright, keep going. But then again, as a new employee, he didn't have much money he could spend freely on snacks and such. A little sugar was very welcome indeed. If I get caught, they'll get punished too. So the man split the smuggled food with the other trainees in his room. They all devoured their shares greedily. As the presents from his Daimakarov buddy, the time they were known as the Daimakarov supply drop, continued, that talentless, quiet, and hobbyless triple threat contender for the asocial crown suddenly found himself getting along with the group in the dorm, all thanks to the Daimakarov connection. And 3 months later, when the man's training period came to end, it was once again his Daimakarov buddy whose recommendation got him assigned to the Chiba branch office he'd hoped for. Hey! That's fucking wild, dude. In other words, when it comes to hobbies and interests, anything is fine. Finding friends you can talk about some common interest with is a really valuable thing. It really is. Sometimes something that small can be the trigger for getting a huge leg up in life. That's the moral of the story. The macaroon. Aww. Ha! Makina is hungry again. I thought it was a pretty meaningful story. I guess it didn't quite get across. It's metaphorical. You're a perceptive one. Well, more or less. When you're young, you should mess around with all sorts of things. Just try to find something that grabs you, even if it's stupid. After all that spacing out, that's a pretty sharp question. I glanced down towards the pile of borrowed books I'm holding in my hands. I suppose, right now, I don't have anything other than reading that qualifies. You aren't really listening to a word I say, are you? Well, not to say that you need to. Go get Amane to make something then. Yeah, if I'm in the mood. Aww, I see. She does have a lot of energy. I learned my lesson. I learned my own lesson from this conversation. If there's a mention of food in the middle of a story, Makina won't remember anything else. Just like a certain somebody else I know. I'll have to be more careful next time. Ah. Later that night at 1910. So about 7:10. During my middle school days in America, I got a number of strange nicknames from my classmates. Mainly because none of them could be bothered to remember a Japanese name. On top of the predictable side, there was Jap and Shorty. My family name Kazami got abbreviated to KZ as well. However, among my numerous nicknames, the only one that stuck through basic training was Gar, short for garbage eater. It's not that I had a reputation for dumpster diving, it was a reference to my tolerance for shitty food. As to how I earned it, the story is very simple. KB made a slop unfit for pigs, and I ate it without grimacing. Freeze-dried scrambled eggs, pork and beans made from scraps of ham, bread with peanut butter, and ridiculously stringy mystery meat were the staples. Every one of them had a weird chemical aftertaste, and they were all disgusting. Rumor had it the secret sauce was gasoline. Oh. As for the chocolate cake we got for dessert, it was more commonly and accurately described as a desert. That cake was legendary for being inedible. No matter how starved you were, it would end up stuck in your throat as a dry lump. But I ate it, and all the rest without complaining. Probably because I was living rough from a young age. I've never been what you'd call a picky eater. I wish I could say the same myself, boy. Ugh. To put it simply, as long as my belly was full and my body was getting what it needed, the taste wasn't a concern. Yep, I understand that. Even those 3 torturous meals a day didn't inspire any serious complaints from me. People around me must have thought I was some sort of freak. And after a while, my nickname became Garbage Eater, then eventually just Gar. Hey Gar, just how shitty a cook was your mom? I had a set response to this one. My mom didn't cook much. She was too busy screwing your dad's brains out. As far as my jokes go, I thought it was kind of witty, but that line didn't get many laughs. I guess my delivery was a bit too stony. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Well then, what should I do for dinner? Don't particularly feel a desire to eat, but if you don't take meals at 3 regular times a day, it throws off your body's clock, leaves you more susceptible to fatigue. To tell the truth, I view meals as nothing more than an element of maintaining my physical condition. Yep, I am the same way. I don't really eat for pleasure, I eat out of necessity. As long as I'm getting sufficient nourishment, I'm not that caught up on when or what I eat. When I spend any effort considering things like that, all I end up thinking about is how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be to make something. That's why I don't, go out of my way to really make too many things. Nothing beyond just something, quick and easy to make. Because, eating isn't this, glorious thing that I treasure like the French. It's something I do out of necessity, so I'm just putting something in me because I need to. Not, because I want to remember it, And eventually, the act of eating itself starts to feel like a nuisance. My normal pattern is to just throw something together from my supply of canned food and dried food. You again! Yeah, what do you want, Amane? Well, this is my room. She barges in like she owns the place, no longer even bothering to knock. But I'm already getting used to it, I guess. Probably because I've experienced a lot of emergency summons. It didn't get to me that much in the first place.
7時になったら私の部屋にご飯食べにおいでって言ったでしょ。夕食の用意してマキナと待ってたのになんで来ないかな。
I think he said he'd think about showing up. He didn't say he would. As she speaks, I notice that Amane is holding a plate filled with crab legs in her hands.
実家からカニが届いたから食べにおいでって言ったじゃんさ。
I do recall such an event. I also recall responding if I'm in the mood, not that I'd definitely be there. Exactly. So you shouldn't have counted on him showing up. Yes, but I said that you and Makina should go ahead and eat if I didn't show up on time.
何？あんたもカニ嫌いなの？
Not really.
殻を剥いて食べるのがめんどくさいでしょ。マキナも同じこと言うのよね。剥いてあげれば食べるくせにさ。剥いてあげれば剥いてあげたであの子。これぞザッツカニパンでしょとか言いながらパンに挟んで食べるのよ。基本的に物の価値が分かっていないっていうか、挙句には言うにこと書いてかまぼこの方がうめえなって失礼しちゃうわよ。
Well, I can't respond to that because I have not had either one. I am not much of a seafood person, so... Probably just means that Makina places more importance on how easy it is to eat. Honestly, I think I'd go for crab paste over crab myself.
何よ、張り合いのない子たちね。世の中には食べたくても食べられない子がたくさんいるのよ。
That's not gonna make me change my mind. Huh, that's certainly true.
分かったのなら文句を言わず食べなさい。腹向いてあげるから。
Look, I wasn't really complaining, and I can take care of the shell on my own.
っていうか、私が来なかったら何を食べるつもりだったの？ご飯は炊いてあるんだ。でもこれいつ炊いたの？なんかカチカチ。
He's well aware of that fact. Hey, hands off! Amani's wandered off into my kitchen and is examining things as she pleases. After confirming the contents of my mess kit cooker, she opens the door to my refrigerator and starts taking stock of my supplies.
食べかけの缶詰の残りとお肉ソーセージとマヨネーズにレタスとチンゲン菜。何これ？たくあんの缶詰？こんなのどこで売ってるのよ？っていうか、いつ開けたの？
I opened it at lunch. Get off my back! Why is it that this feels strangely embarrassing? It's not like I have anything troublesome in the fridge. In the first place, where does she get off calling canned radish this thing? It's well known among canned food connoisseurs that it's almost decent to pretty much edible. Is this woman looking down on the brave men and women who have gained courage from canned food throughout the years? As I silently burned with righteous indignation, Amane brazenly starts running tap water into my rice cooker. Hey, what do you think you're doing? I don't care if it's hard. Probably because I'm used to eating canned stuff that comes out arid and stiff as a wax candle. Pretty tolerant of tough food. Why do you want to use my eggs? I don't care, but what are you planning? Really? Well, I suppose pretty much anyone can handle fried rice. Especially for a woman. The somewhat prejudiced assumption is that you'll have a basic skill like that. Fact is, out of all the women I've met so far, the only one who couldn't make edible fried rice was my master. Still, I can't quite hide a certain anxiety. Not that Amane is paying any attention, humming to herself as she cracks open the eggs. After shaking some salt and pepper onto the eggs, she mixes in the lightly rinsed rice. Then adds a bit of crab meat, only about half of what she brought, finely chopped radish. She heats a frying pan coated with the mayonnaise, rather than oil, adds the lettuce and spinach she plundered from my fridge, and throws in the rice mixture according to her own timing. Sticking the back of her ladle into the mix, she vigorously clatters it around the frying pan, messily stir-frying the food. Alright, I'll check it out in a minute, Brad. Yeah, anytime I watch somebody cook, it might as well be like I'm watching a magic show. It's like, I have no idea why you're doing anything you're doing, I just know that it make food tasty. When Amane decides it's done, she uses the bowl, some mold, to form the fried rice into a perfect hemisphere, then tosses it onto the plate. This wouldn't look out of place in a Chinese restaurant. Dressing the leftover crab meat with mustard and mayo, she drops it with a thud on the top of the heap of fried rice on the plate. I wish I could say the same, Brad. I don't really do much of my own cooking. So she says, but it hasn't even been 10 minutes since Amane started cooking. The imposing pile of steaming fried rice on my plate looks pretty damn impressive for something cobbled together out of leftovers, and in such a short time.
っていうか、この部屋もっと大きいテーブルないの？なんかお皿とかも少ないし、今度来るとき持ってこようか？
Don't think he particularly cares. Not necessary. I have what I need. The table is a small coffee table for one that Sachi dragged out of some storeroom as a stopgap measure. And the frying pan and what tableware I have are things I picked out carelessly at the local 100 yen and hardware stores. Yup, he went to fucking Dollar General to get this shit. God damn it. Of course he did. Oh, fucking course he did. Since I'm living alone, it's all perfectly adequate. Yep, he is a minimalist. He's like, I got what I need. Get off me. No point in getting more dishes when I'm only eating off one. Which means more things to wash. Noticing something as she speaks, Amane returns to the kitchen and starts to rustle through a plastic bag in the corner. I learned something from a teacher long ago, Amane. Don't mess with the pile. Huh? Yeah. Been throwing my empty oolong tea bottles in that bag. Before I knew it, it had something of a pile. But I was uncertain about the timing to throw them out. Like I said, don't mess with the pile. Throw it out and I goddamn want to. Ah, okay. With well-practiced movements, she peels off the labels, removes the caps, and skillfully cuts off their plastic rings with the tip of a kitchen knife. Finally, she lightly rinses the bottles themselves with tap water. Judging from the smooth motion of her hands, she's repeated this often enough to gain the mastery of an assembly line worker. Clearly, she's something of an eco-friendly woman. Thank you, but that won't be necessary. That's okay, I can take care of that much myself. Thank you very much. Sorry for the hassle. Is that all you think you are? Of course, that's a loaded question. With a quick goodbye, Amane heads out of the room, not waiting for my impression of this crab fried rice. Like I said last time, she knows her fucking worth. She knows it's damn good without you even having to taste it. I had the idea that a busybody woman like her would be more likely to hang over my shoulder pestering me for compliments, but she just popped in all of a sudden, cooked for me in a flash, and then left just as quickly. Might be the influence of dealing with that whimsical Makina all the time. Precisely. Yes. Let's eat. Unfortunately, I don't have a Chinese spoon in this room, so I'll just have to make do with the standard Western variety. I jab my spoon into the mountain of steaming fried rice and quickly throw some into my mouth. Not bad at all. Even someone as disinterested in food as me can tell when something tastes good. The salt seasoning feels a bit thin, but this is probably how it should be if you're thinking about healthy sodium intake. Although it would be insulting to compare this to the crap my master made, it's also different from the stuff you'd get at high-priced Chinese restaurants. It tastes like your standard fried rice. It's got a nice homemade taste to it, I bet. What's with this flavor? Probably the mayonnaise she used. When I was living alone with my mother as a child, I remember eating fried rice that tasted like this. After finishing your day job, My mother would make me dinner before her night shift started. The last week of the month before her paychecks came in, it would often be a pretty plain meal of fried rice. When all she could put on the table was fried rice with a bit of pink full of fish paste added, she would apologize as I ate. I'm sorry, this is all we've got. Unlike the fried rice Amane just made, there was never anything extravagant like crab thrown in, and Amane's cooking skills seem to be better as well. So why is it that they taste similar? Where's this slight melancholy coming from? Well, it doesn't matter, as long as it's good. Yeah, don't overthink it. When I was a kid, anything I ate tasted good. That part of me hasn't changed too much. I'm not too picky. Alright, it is about 3 o'clock in the morning. Yep. So I think we are going to pick things up here next time. Last time we had Arrival of the Mystery Blonde, and next time we have Idiot Girl and Fake Tsundere. Oh boy. So yeah, we're still kind of just getting settled into this academy here. But, oh man, things are already pretty fucking wild. Seriously though, Amane makes a very strong case for picking her first. Like, for real, dude. For fucking real. I guess we'll figure that out when the time comes then, won't we? She comes on pretty strong, I have to say. Although I am going to be curious to find out why Caleb thinks Yukiko is best girl. I want to wait to see where I stand on that once I've played through quite a lot more of the game. Because I haven't really spent enough time with everybody yet to really know where I stand on that. Because I know with The Devil on G-String, it was quite a while into the series, and not until after I'd played Canon's route that I knew where I stood. Like, I'm just, fuck yes. Canon, you are my number one. So, I will be very curious to see where I end up falling on that scale for this story as it goes along. Right now, I'd say the ones that have gotten the strongest reactions out of me so far are definitely Amane and Makina. They definitely have a fun dynamic going on. Like I said, Amane comes on pretty strong, so she's kind of hard to ignore. But that is going to be it for tonight. So I hope you all are enjoying the series so far, because I'm having a hell of a fun time reading this. This is a pretty damn fun game. So yeah, until next time, thank you all for watching, and take care.